And welcome back, everyone. It is I, your friend, streamer, longtime lover. Sorry, Sabaton Liam here, back with. Thank you very much. Back with some more Call of Cthulhu. Now we did take a 2, 3, 4 week absence, but due to unforeseen circumstances that had to happen. But we are back, and more than happy to have another poor unfortunate soul trapped with us in the swamp. But we shall get into chat and say hello to everyone.
Need to sort of like know the context of when it's okay to push a roll and when it's probably not a safe thing and just roll with the punches.
And hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Liam. Hello, chat. We're back with some more Call of Cthulhu. The Devil's Swamp. Let me summon our faithful recording bot so he can eavesdrop on our game. And then we'll get into it.
Now recording.
Hello, Craig. You just sit there and be a creep and listen to everything.
I
All right.
love you, Craig.
He loves you too. All right, let's get into it. I will get the music and we will once again enter this world of madness and terror. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Devil's Swamp, everyone. It's time once again to answer the call. Whose call? Well, not Cthulhu. He's not in this scenario. I am, once again, your Keeper of Arcane Lore, DG, and I am your not necessarily benevolent guide on this expedition into madness, anguish, and regret. We're picking up pretty much exactly where we left off last time. Our intrepid investigators have decided to search the Hockomock Swamp, a local hotspot of bizarre and unexplainable phenomena, to try to find a missing boy. Night has fallen. They are alone in the swamp, far way away from civilization, probably lost, and they have just encountered it, the shapeshifter. Thing that poses as those who've gone missing in the swamp. And as we open tonight, we open on the aftermath of that encounter. The shapeshifter has darted away into the darkness, leaving you all alone, surrounded by the thick, intertwining trees. All is silent save for the sounds of the swamp and the heavy, laboured breathing of Teve Serwin, doubled over on the ground, clutching a gaping wound that has been clumsily attended to. First aid has been applied that seems to have done some good, but there is no mistaking through his breathing, through his gritted teeth, that he is in obvious pain. We have a new player joining us tonight. Please, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us the name of your character, tell us who you are, and tell us a little bit about them before I throw them into this meat grinder.
Well, my name is Edna Nightingale of the Nightingale family. That Nightingale family. I should be. I was born in Bristol, but my parents sent me away to Australia to boarding school, thusly the very strong Australian accent. And I now currently reside in Boston. And somehow I got talked into coming into this swamp to look for a cousin that has gone missing.
Yeah. A friend's cousin. Someone you've never even met.
Nope.
Someone you wouldn't even bat an eyelid for if not for the fact that these
Nope.
people are very tangentially linked to your family. They're sort of from the branch of the family that no one talks about, and just to keep up appearances, you came into town to try to support them in their time of need.
Yes, as a favour to Aunt Magdalene, I had to come and join, especially because my mother wishes to continue getting her monthly allowance.
And they warned you. The police officers stuck out their hands and they said, "But just stay back, ma'am. The swamp. It's gonna be dark soon. It's not the time or the place for a city gal like you." And
City, I'll
Edna,
have you know, I was raised in the country of Queensland.
Edna, you're not the type to let somebody deter you like that. And so he listens to your retort, and he hears your accent, and he probably wasn't expecting to hear that accent, because people here in a town like this, when someone from the city comes, they're usually upper crust. They sound like Bostonians, or they sound like Brits from across the ocean. And yet you speak with this Australian accent, and it seems to be enough to disarm him. He just steps back, raises his hands, and he says, "Well, all right, ma'am, if you follow that trail down that way," he points, "you should catch up with the search party, but, well, Chief will be putting out the order to, come back soonish. Sun's going down. It'll be dark within a couple hours. We can't have people out there in the swamp at night. We're gonna call it off. Probably we reconvene in the morning." And well, he sighs.
Well,
Boy's been out there all day anyway, and
thank you for
well,
your concern, but as you can see, I am a grown lady. I can do as I please, and I think I can take care of myself.
sort of mutters something under his breath, something that you don't hear, but you get the gist of.
Oh,
You
I've been
think
called worse.
you think you catch the words uppity broad in there somewhere, and
It's
but
Sheila, thank you.
he says nothing, just stony faced, lips purse as he steps back to let you pass, and you venture beyond the tree line. And
I'm going to name our next cat after you.
oh, sure, ma'am, that'd be a great honor, he says, trying to sound excited and happy. And that's when you leave normality. Despite what the police officer said, you don't cross paths with the search party. They're not just down the trail. Either you've gotten lost, or they've gotten lost, or some
I'll say me.
mysterious, probably you, or
I'll say me.
some mysterious unknown force is working to ensure that you never cross paths with them, that you are drawn away alone into the darkness. Night falls, and you find yourself surrounded by the twisted shadows of the trees, the eerie silence that's broken only by the distant sounds of water lapping against shores. There is no wind, no leaves bristle in the branches above. There is not even any wildlife. It is as if you have suddenly been dropped onto a lifeless alien planet, that you are the only living soul for miles. And you start to regret agreeing to your aunt's ultimatum, that maybe it would be worth being snubbed at a few dinner parties.
Hold, Mum. I'm quite happy to just do my own thing. I don't care what they say. Those ladies can talk.
And well, it would mean you weren't in this place right now with slime and mud and dirt all over your dress, the dress that costs so
turned down
much. And
I turned down the chance to go to Egypt
for
to do
this.
this.
And so far you've just spent a few hours walking around alone in the dark, in the swamp. And you're starting to wonder if you even are able to find your way back, and then suddenly screams, gunshots, bang, bang, somewhere nearby.
Ah, heck.
Someone's
All right.
having a bad night, but they're not
Cautiously,
alone.
Cautiously. It's like, okay, well, they're either a hunting party, or they're the search party. Either way, I'm going to die. So we're going to go and have a look, but we're going to be cautious about it. So we're going to approach, not just barge straight into the thing. We're going to head towards it, though.
Be careful. So I'd like you to go ahead and make for me either a listen or a track check.
What do I roll for that?
So you'll roll a D100, and if you don't have any points in either of those skills, you're just trying to beat the base value.
Alright, I have listen, and I don't have track. So I'll go for listen.
Go ahead. Let's see how you do.
94.
94. That will not be a pass, but you can push it if you like, or you can accept it as it is and see what happens. You might just miss out on some clues.
I might try and push, for the simple fact is that I am, like, there is a lot of noise in, well, I'm traipsing around, like...
You don't want to be alone out here, and
No, not really.
gunshot is pretty loud. You should be able to pick a direction and orient yourself.
Okay, I have a 59.
And what is your skill in listen?
Which one? It was its first number?
Yep, that'll be the first number.
20.
20. Still not a pass, but it is not a bad fail. And so you hear that gunshot, you hear those screams, and you try to orient yourself in the vague direction you heard. You push through the brush, creep through the swamp towards those sounds, and you have to stop a few times, reorient yourself. You nearly trip over a tree root. Another time you nearly stumble down a steep embankment into the water, and you just have to stop, recount your steps, backtrack a little bit, and keep going in the vicinity that you're sure these sounds came from. And unfortunately, because you failed, when you turn up, the chaos has already happened. You step out of the tree line into a small clearing and right into the aftermath of what has clearly been some sort of horrific encounter. There's 4 people here, 2 men, 2 women. One of the women, a look of intense desperation on her face, clutches a shotgun, has it cocked, sweeps the tree line ahead of her, and when she sees you stumbling out, she immediately whirls around, brandishes the shotgun in your direction. The other man and the other woman step back, watching carefully to see what will happen, and the 4th member of the group lies on the ground. He's wearing khaki safari gear, and his face is screwed up in pain as he clutches his chest where a bloodied bandage has been wrapped around his torso. What do you say, Edna, upon stepping into this scene?
What the bloody hell is going on? What the bloody hell is going on? I'm like...
Very fair reaction.
How's he doing over here?
I'm here looking for whatever my cousin's name is.
Jimmy. Little Jimmy.
Jimmy. I'm here looking for little Jimmy. God damn, my aunt is just adamant that I had to come and help find you. And here I am. I'm in the friggin' swamp of nowhere. It could have been in friggin' Egypt. No. I am in some swamp getting eaten by fucking mosquitoes. Excuse my language. Eaten by mosquitoes.
Like, so.
Hold up. You're looking up for
What
little
the hell?
Jimmy?
Yes.
We're looking for little Jimmy.
Wait.
How do you know little Jimmy?
Wait. My Blake's eyes just light up, and they go, don't trust her. She could be another one of those things.
What things?
She's
lady that did this to me.
she's playing stupid. Keep that gun pointed at her.
Teve gestures down at his wound as he says with a flourish, "What the thing that did this to me?"
All right. Well,
Um,
we'll have to figure out if you're telling the truth. What part of Oz are you from?
North Queensland.
North Queensland. What town?
Charters Towers.
Too right. All right.
Where are you from?
Oh, I'm down from. Where did I put it? Oh, I'm from Essendon.
Oh,
You,
okay.
you might have heard of me. I own the Melbourne Zoo.
Ah, okay. You're one of this. Was it Irwins? I don't know what
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
Serwin.
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 You're one of the Serwins. Oh, you would know
That's
my
it,
family
that's it.
then.
Oh yeah. What's your family?
We're the Nightingales.
Oh, that family.
Yes, that family.
Ah,
You're pretty sure
family in the past.
pretty sure one of the enclosures at your zoo is called the Nightingale Memorial Reserve or something like that.
Yeah, the Nightingale Reserve for Nightingales.
Yes.
Well, Blake and Violet and I'm sorry, what's the name of the other character? It's been a while. Ah, yes, yep. Lauren, Violet, and Blake. It seems apparent that these two, if well, not knowing each other personally, seem to have some familiarity with each other. Does that disarm you at all? Is that enough? Is that enough for the shotgun to be lowered just a little bit?
I calm down. Sorry, Billy, can you mute your microphone? Sorry. I calm down a little bit. And remember back to Jimmy's drawings that I've seen of all the shape-shifting images, and there was a scar on the cheek. I slowly approached this. Did you introduce yourself to the group yet?
No, not yet.
Okay,
Just a tease.
Oh, just a T. Just a Tav. Just a Tav. I cautiously approach this new stranger and
I reach into my bag.
That's
just
probably not a
casually
good.
grab my bag, like
and
where the salt is.
I'm looking around to see if I can see a scar on her right cheek.
Edna, what does he see?
He does not see a scar.
He probably sees porcelain white cheeks with. You
Maybe
probably.
a little bit of like sun-kissed like tan to it, but you know.
Okay, final test, because this will be the real ringer. Tell these lovely people how dangerous drop bears are.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Drop bears. You do not mess with drop bears. Oh my gosh, like that.
What on earth is a drop bear?
Well, they kind of look like the koalas. My nanny was telling me about them. Sometimes you'd hear them at nighttime. Not often, but like certain times of the year you would hear them. And my nanny would tell me that they were out hunting. So we would never be allowed out of the house at night, just in case. But they apparently resemble koalas. And you wouldn't know it was a koala and a drop bear until you tried to pick it up, and then it would eat you.
That's close enough. You got a clean bill from me.
Okay.
Oh dear God.
That sounds horrifying. I go back to clutching my little pocket watch in my jacket pocket.
Don't tell me we got drop bears here too.
No. They're not this side of the Atlantic.
Okay, what is going on, and what is he talking about?
Skinwalkers.
And I'll in.
That's
Oh.
that's what we've come across here. Skinwalkers. Bloody
Oh,
bug
so
jumped up and sliced me open like a little tuna.
Yeah, and then I shot it, and it did nothing.
oh,
Well,
you-
So
you-
that's
you
why
know
the
you
gun is
can't
pointed
talk
at you,
to
darling. The gun's pointed at you, darling, because you just came out of where it ran from.
Well, I can tell you this now, that if I was a skinwalker, I wouldn't be able to keep this up right now. I'd be running. Or you guys would be running, one of the two.
Would like.
From what I have heard about skinwalkers, I've been told that you can't do much about them. They're just there. You just ignore them. So if you want to live, you ignore them.
Yeah, that
Edna.
probably would have been a good idea.
Too late now, it
I
seems.
mean, it's
Edna.
not our fault we went to go investigate. Someone did suggest we go,
What do you mean?
and then I
Jim's
turn
not
and
dead,
look.
is he?
No, and then I turn my head and look at I look at Blake.
But we have to find out what's going on and save the boy.
I know.
I'd just like to ask, Edna, what is your occult skill?
Um, 10.
And yeah, you pretty much have heard the name Skinwalker. And you know that there are stories about this swamp, about people encountering things that shouldn't exist, but
Oh.
but you don't really have more than like a passing familiarity with any of this stuff. And you're not entirely sure whether what these people are talking about could possibly exist, or if they're even telling the truth at all and not just insane murderers. But you can't deny that the hours you've been walking around alone, you did feel something. There is watching you. There's no logical reason why you shouldn't have met the search party on their way back out of the swamp. You followed the same trail they did, and yet within no time at all you were on your own, and suddenly you're with these people. And I think that's enough for you for now to accept that something you can't quite understand is going on. And does that make you a bit more inclined to trust these people and stick with them for the time being?
Well, the simple fact that the first people I've seen in the swamp for hours, and there is an Aussie in the group, so yeah. And he knows about drop bears.
So then, the shotgun is lowered, and you're allowed to step out fully into the clearing, and you quickly introduce yourself, and with hushed voices they fill you in on what they've seen and learned so far, which is remarkably similar to your experience in the swamp so far. And the only thing that is on anyone's minds at this point is, after everything that's happened,
Beer.
should you turn back, head out, get a beer, come back in the morning when you can prepare and things are safer, or should you press on? Because Jimmy Campbell is still missing, and now you have seen with your own eyes that he is most certainly not safe here.
Yeah, I think we need to move on now. I think
He needs first aid. Like, he needs a doctor.
we're at the point of no return, lady. This is we've done the best we can. If we go back now, we could possibly lose Jimmy. Meanwhile, TV's just.
Yeah, he's probably like throwing his guts up and going, "Oh, I don't need no bloody first aid."
The bush provides for me.
Well, on the way that it works, he'll probably get a school named after him.
Yeah, that's the dream.
It does occur to you that the wound looks a lot worse than it is. He's still able to walk under his own power and move under his own power. It's perhaps a nasty looking laceration, but when he shrugs it off and proclaims that he doesn't need any first aid, you realise
Oh,
that
We've
yeah,
already
Teeve,
administered first aid.
yeah, you've done the best you could.
Only lost 4 hit points. What are hit points? Shit.
He got he's
And like
delirious.
the first aid has been competently applied. Like, it's obvious that Teeve is a guy who knows outdoorsman-y things, and the bleeding has stopped, and there isn't really much chance of it getting infected at this point.
Actually, quickly, can I do a spot hidden check to see if I can find anything to chuck on my wounds to help a little bit more?
You mean like a plant or like a local remedy? I'd ask for a survival or a natural world for that.
Survival on natural world. Natural world's higher.
Mullane, comfy, or Mullane or
That is
Nutwing.
an 8.
An 8. So
You're fine.
Edna, the words have only just left your mouth about him requiring first aid, and as if to prove you wrong, he just walks past you, reaches out, plucks a leaf from one of the trees, and like crunches it up in his hand, and then applies the resulting sickly green goop to where the cut would be. And Teeve, you feel the pain dulling as soon as you do this. It goes from a sharp stab to a dull throbbing.
Thanks.
As-
I know what I'm doing.
And
I have some salt if you would like some as well.
Ah, Puny, give it here.
So I'll hand him some
He
salt.
grabs the salt and chucks it on his wounds.
grits his teeth. And you can add an extra hit point to your total for addressing the wound a bit more. But now it's time to press on, as Blake said, unless there's anybody who desperately wants to go back, knowing that going back at this point is probably going to be much more difficult than getting here was.
Did we last session decide on if we were going to follow it or
We didn't.
go
No,
the other
we
way?
just left it straight in.
Okay.
We ended as soon as the thing ran off.
Okay, well, I guess we need to decide whether we want to follow it or find another way.
I don't want to admit this, but I think we may have to follow it. He might lead us to Jimmy. Look, this will probably be to certain death, but oh dear God, that was well timed.
Perfectly timed.
Yeah.
This might lead to certain death, but we do have to find Jimmy, and a part of me wants to have a chance to study more of the occult and everything that's going on tonight.
Wouldn't mind catching that thing too. Make an exhibit out of it.
I oddly have summit fever with this. We gotta see it through to the end.
Well, you're the first people I've seen since I was sent down here by some incompetent fool of a deputy. I'm sticking with you guys.
Teeve, which direction would you like to lead people? The way the thing ran off? Or do you want to continue going down the trail you've been following?
I think. Well, it strikes me that maybe the Skinwalker was actually here to divert us from the path. So, I think we should continue down the path. What say yous?
This sounds good.
That sounds like a plan to me.
I'm good with that. Lead the way, Teeve.
Teeve, make me a track check, if you will.
Track. So that's a 60. And. Oh, shit. Give me a sec. It's dark and I've lost a dice.
Ah, I would use that as an excuse for a re-roll, if it were me.
No, I literally have. I have no idea where this dice.
Well, we are in a swamp.
Give me a sec. It's
Highly immersive Call of Cthulhu experience where it's too dark to see your dice.
Yep. Found it. Okay. Oh god damn it! I just did it again. Oh, this is ridiculous.
This is the way. This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way. This is the way.
Okay. Now, note to self: do not throw dice.
Get yourself a dice tray, man.
Okay, that is a 17.
Lovely. That's definitely a pass. You decide to continue on the way you were heading. It's a reasonable assumption to make that the changeling was trying to divert you, waste your time. And sure enough, you do find signs that someone or something has been this way. Snapped twigs, imprints in the dirt, places where the swamp's foliage is less thick and you can actually see the ground, where the grass doesn't come up past your knees. You can actually see blades of it bent down as if somebody's passed by here fairly recently. And you get the feeling that you're making good time. The tracks seem relatively fresh, no more than a couple hours old, perhaps from just before the sun came down. What's everyone's sanity values currently at?
Let's see. My sanity is
45.
50.
50? 45 for T?
37.
37. Oh.
Did you guys save it from last
Saturday
time?
Lost? Yeah.
Yeah, did you
From
guys
last
actually save it from last time?
I feel like Liam's is rather high for a.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
saved mine from last time.
Yeah, he did. I remember he started with an awful lot,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh, okay. That makes
what
sense.
was-
Okay.
His original was like 60-ish.
Yeah.
Oh
That
yeah.
makes more
And I
sense.
kept rolling good, so I only lost like one sanity at a time.
Yeah.
Give me a sec. I just gotta find my dog. He's gone.
That's all good. You're not the one with the lowest sanity.
Yeah.
It's just-
Well, actually, if we're going by the sanity loss that I put in the side chat, it is Blake lost 3 last time, Teeve lost 4, Lawrence lost 5, and I lost 3.
Lauren lost 5, which I'm going to go on san loss rather than what your current san is, and she lost 5.
Okay.
So Lauren, you're not at the back of the group, you're not at the front, you're just in the middle somewhere. You're not really talking to anyone. You're just following Teve as he leads the group onwards into the swamp, and your mind is running through essentially what's just happened. That thing, its pale skin, its long, sharp teeth, the way it looked at you hungrily before it darted off into the trees, and you've never seen anything like this before. Never in your wildest dreams thought that any of this stuff that Dr. Nichols is into was actually real. And that's when you hear it. The voice.
Oh no, not again.
It whispers in your ear. Follow, follow. I lead you to Master. I lead you the right way. You stumble onwards and onwards, stumble into a trap, but Master will see you right. Just stop and look and see me and follow me. Out of the corner of your eye, Lauren, you see something moving, something something vaguely above eyeline, something moving in the branches of the trees above. But you don't dare look up. You don't dare look around to see what it is. Or do you?
Oh. Well, considering that every time I look, I lose sanity. I'm not going to look this time. I am going to try my hardest to not look and
Go
avoid
ahead.
whatever is there that
Go
I
ahead.
am
Yeah,
imagining.
it could be as bad as you imagine. It could be something completely innocent, but it's talking to you, so probably not. Go ahead and roll me a power check, please, to see if you have the willpower to keep your eyes clamped firmly ahead and nowhere else.
What's a power trap?
POW. It's in
You
your
have-
stats.
Yeah, pow,
Oh.
POW. Yeah, it's not a skill, it's just a stat.
So it's the 2 die for the.
Yep, same
thing?
as every
Okay,
other.
Yep. Okay. That is a 41,
Oh.
and my power is 50.
That's a pass. You can feel the eyes of something on you, something watching from just above the hairs on the back of your neck prick up alert, but you clamp your eyes shut, stare firmly forwards, and keep walking. And no one else seems to have heard the voice. No one else seems to be aware that you're fighting an internal battle right now to resist the temptation to look up and see what it is. The voice continues. You make the wrong decision. You walk on and it waits for you. It knows what you would do. You play right into its trap. But Master would help. What do you do?
Is there any way that I can talk to this thing?
Oh, sure, you can talk back, but everyone else will hear you. They'll know you're talking to something.
Who is this master you speak of?
Friend who knows the swamp. Friend who protects the swamp. Friend who hunts the changeling.
And who are you? Why am I only able to hear you?
Because you of all have your mind open where your companions' minds are shut.
Did your friend eat something she shouldn't have?
Probably.
Okay.
She's
I was
a
told not to eat
little,
the mushroom. I was told not to touch the mushrooms.
she might have. She's been staring off recently.
Okay.
I'm keeping a close eye on her. Don't worry.
I just poke Florence.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Florence, not Lauren. That's right. I've been saying it wrong. Florence from
Yeah,
now on.
Florence.
Oh, that's her new nickname, Lawrence. I just poke Florence. Are you okay? You're mumbling to yourself.
I hear the voices again, like that time in the cottage house.
Yeah, back at the
Place?
house, yeah.
Back at the house.
What are they saying this time?
They're saying that we're going the wrong way. We're going straight into the master's trap, and that they can help us find Jimmy.
Yeah, that's actually Blake doing that, not me.
Yeah. Conundrum.
Thank you, music.
Knows you're paranoid.
Yeah, I'm at this point. I'm just doing my best, looking around, trying to squint my eyes at what little light we have. Just Blake doesn't even know what he's looking for. He's just freaking out, seeing if anything's watching us.
Make a spot hidden check for me, Blake.
60. Ooh. Okay. Nice, come at me. That is a 3.
Blake, you raise the flashlight, begin to sweep it around, and there's this single, circle of light in a sea of blackness. With the flashlight, you can see maybe a meter in front of you and around you, and then there's just this inky blackness beyond that, the vague suggestion of shapes. You do not know at all what you're looking for, and as you whirl around to point the flashlight
Wait,
Back the-
are we not using flashlights?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
flashlight attracted the monsters last time, so we've been using torches.
Yeah, well,
And I'm the
I
only
know.
one with a torch.
Well, in that case, I would also like you to make a spot hidden since you have the torch.
Okay. There's a 57 and no, mine's 50.
Oh,
Yeah. That's all right. One spot hidden. So you kind of like you're not sure where Blake's looking. You're just sort of whirling around with him raising the torch, like shining this little circle of flickering light on the tree line, trying to see something because Florence is just staring ahead and she's convinced something's out there, and that's when you hear it. Florence, you hear the voice again. Yes, yes, no need to be scared. Trust me, I am a faithful servant and nothing more. And Blake, you hear not a voice, but a high-pitched chittering, something that sounds like a squirrel or a rodent, some woodland creature chittering in the darkness, and you have a split second where you think, could that be what she's talking to? Is she okay? That's clearly some sort of animal. Your light falls on something that scurries across the branch of a tree, and I would like you to go ahead and make a send check for me, please, Blake.
Yep. Will this be the Psycho's thing? Okay. That is a 65. That's a fail.
Hmm. Go ahead and roll 1d6 for me,
Oh
please.
no.
Can I ask the voice what he's a servant of?
That's a 2.
You can keep talking to it while this is going
That's
on.
a 2.
By the way, just to elaborate on what's happening, I did drop something in the shallows.
Florence continues to talk. Her voice rings out in the darkness. What are you the servant of? Who is your master? And again, the voice speaks back to you, Florence. He says, I am the master of Israelis, the caretaker, the grower of the swamp. And the rest of you just hear this loud-pitched chittering. The flickering light falls on something that at first appears to be a large rat. But its face is that of an old man.
No.
Oh no. Oh no.
Right,
Blake, as soon as you see that its face is that of a human, you open your mouth and scream. And as you scream, your scream startles the thing. It turns and scurries away. Turns before anyone else can even see the merest suggestion of what its face looks like.
how many sand points do I lose, by the way? I rolled a 2.
You lose 2 sand points.
Well, let me put that in, then continue screaming.
Florence, you watch as the thing scurries away, and as it scurries away, it calls out in a high-pitched voice, No! No harm you, no harm. You trust. Trust in me, Cyrillus, and follow. Follow or walk the way you are going and die. And then it is gone.
Did you say Cyrillus?
Cyrillus.
Do I know that? Is that their
You
name,
have
their species, their...
The name means nothing to you.
Wait, sorry, Easterellis, that was what we saw, just the name they said. Sorry, I kind of tuned
Yeah,
out.
Cyrillus. That's what the rat thing said it serves.
Eve turns to Florence with sparkles in his eyes. You could speak squirrel?
I don't think I can speak squirrel. He said that this voice said that I can only hear it because my mind is open.
Oh. Oh. Cave
I
is very
haven't
disappointed.
I haven't been able to speak to animals before.
And then there's Blake, who's just standing there. His
His
mouth drops open, and it's clear by the look on his face that
Uh,
he
I
got
don't
a
think it was
bit
a
of a
squirrel.
longer glimpse than everyone else. Yeah, well, good thing to say.
I don't think it was a squirrel.
That rat had a human face.
Blake, stop carrying on. Calm down. Take a breather. The more you
He's been
freak out, the
putting
more
that
you're
in there
gonna
for
attract some other creature that's gonna kill us.
But he had a face like an old man on a rat.
Okay. Okay.
Mate, literally just saw a guy turn into a vicious beast.
And you're freaking out over a rat with a human face. And then I turned to Florence and I'm like, Florence, did you get a name for that? Whatever master it served. And then DM, I would like to make an occult check.
You may go ahead. Once she utters the name, is Cyrillus.
Wait,
The voice said Cyrillus.
Could I also do a history check?
Yeah, go ahead.
oh,
History, anthropology would also be one you could roll if you have it.
And then I'm gonna do occult.
Yeah.
That is a
Oh, I have
pass with a 49 out of
I
80.
have an 11. 11 out of
Mm.
11 out
So-
of 60 I got.
Edna, first
Yes.
off, you feel your face screw up in puzzlement. Is Cyrillus? Surely no. That can't be right. Because the name is familiar to you, but in the most strange of contexts. There's an old story in folklore from this region among a tribe of natives that is extinct, that has been extinct for a very long time. The tribe that the natives who live in this region today are descended from. And because this tale is so old, very few of its details are known. Whenever you've seen it in a book, it's maybe just a couple of sentences, but there is an old legend about a great farmer of the name Cyrillus, who was granted the power of the spirits to cause any plant to grow, and that he desired solitude, and he saw that humans were disconnected from nature, and so he grew a swamp, not necessarily the Hockomock swamp, but he grew a swamp to be his garden so that he could reflect and spend the rest of his days in solitude. And with an occult check, Violet, the name also means something to you, but in an entirely different context. You remember reading these old occult journals, pseudoscientific journals sequestered away in the library at Haynes College, covers dusty and pockmarked, text fading, and in there you recall a specific passage about a demon from the underworld with the name Cyrillus, who can bend life into twisted and macabre shapes, bending it to his will to accomplish any specific purpose he desires in the mortal plane.
Is this information shared to everyone or just to
Yeah.
Violet?
Yeah, no, I will share that information and be like,
I'll
that's a name of a demon.
I'll
That's
also
just a life demon that forms life, and like if like is describing what he is, life like that for his own will and purpose.
I'll also share what I know about, like, there was his historical text from a fable from one of the tribes that was from, like, this area, that told of a story of a farmer who wanted solitude, and he was granted the power to give life, well, to create life with plants. So he created a swamp.
Hmm. Well, that does kind of fit that motif of life if he created a swamp.
Mm.
And that creature, if it is how Blake described it is, I have a feeling that's not who we're supposed to be fighting, but I'm sure as hell curious on what that thing is serving. And you said you have salt, right?
Yeah, I have some.
Oh, good. That's protection against a demon. So, I think we're at a choice here, folks. Do we follow that creature, or do we stick to the path?
I'm all for following our woodland friends.
I'm
I want to follow our friend. I want to
I mean,
see
we're
if they
already in a
are
swamp,
indeed
so
a caretaker and they're here to help.
Blake's kind of clutching at Florence's arm, freaking the fuck out, and um, running his fingers through the groove of his pocket watch.
Oh,
Yeah, it's still freaking out about seeing a rat with a human face, and you're the closest one to me.
Steve would like. I'd like to do a quick another bushcraft or natural world check so I can find something to calm the fuck down.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I found these mushrooms.
And if he can't figure it out, if he can't find anything, I would
That's a
like to slap
28.
him.
So that's a pass.
You're not sure.
Oh, good.
You're not sure how Teve is even able to see what he's doing with just that flickering flame. But once again, he just nonchalantly crosses the clearing to one of the trees, reaches up, snips a leaf off. Except this time, he doesn't crush it in his hands. He reaches for his backpack, and out comes a billy, and he crumples the leaf up and drops it into the pot. And about a minute later, Blake, you see you're jerked back to reality by Teve trying to push this pot of boiling tea into your hands, and he's going, "Drink up, mate. This'll calm you down."
I just, without thinking, I just grab it and I feel the warmth. Is it like in a pot or just a makeshift cup or something?
The billy.
Oh, Billy, sorry. I grab it, and something about the warmth of the Billy is just spreading throughout my arms and a bit soothing. And I take a sip and just then that's the worst thing I ever tasted in my life.
It's bushland standard tea, mate.
Oh, it's horrible, but oh, I'm not shaking anymore. And I just look at my other hand still clutching Florence, and I just jerk away, go, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
So, the decision is made to follow this thing, to trust it. Something plagues the back of your minds as you set off in pursuit of it, that you've made a terrible, terrible mistake. Florence, go ahead and make a spot hidden check for me, as
okay.
you're the one that the thing has showed itself to the most.
28.
28. Is that a pass or a fail?
Spot hidden. It's the I don't have any points in it.
Ah. Would you like to push it, or will you accept it as it is?
Spend
Ugh.
luck. It's only 3 points.
Or spend luck?
Yeah, I can spend luck.
Yeah. It scurries off so fast after Blake screams at it that you nearly lose sight of it, and you think that following it's going to be a moot point because no one can even catch sight of the thing, but then you see it. You hear it calling to you, calling your name now, and you motion for the others to follow as you begin trudging through the swamp, following this tiny little shape on the periphery of your vision as it darts from branch to branch. The small rat creature leads you all off the trail to the west, and you start to see movement up ahead. Finally, the flickering light reveals a humanoid figure among the trees, but the shadows and branches obscure most of its form. A human face that somehow doesn't look quite right speaks. We must make this quick if you wish to save the boy. There is a way to save him, but you may find it difficult. Do you understand?
Did that thing just speak?
I think I ate the mushrooms.
That's the voice.
Can you give me
That's
the
the voice
salt?
I've been hearing.
Give me the salt really quick.
I'll hand
Need salt. Give me-
hand some salt over.
And then I just form a circle around the whole entire group really quick with the salt that I have. I'm like, all right, now we can try
He's
talking
just
to this
looking at
thing.
the creature with absolute fascination in his eyes.
Yeah, the figure is just standing. It sort of watches, and you can't make out the features of its face, but it looks human enough that you can sort of tell something about its emotions. And as it watches you, Violet, as it watches Edna and Violet making a circle of salt around the group, it just sort of stands there. It doesn't move, and it seems to be somewhat amused. And it waits for you to complete the circle, and then, still without moving, its voice whispers again, "There, does that make you feel safe? Are
Yes.
you ready to discuss business and what
Yes.
must be done?"
Yes, thank you very much. Sorry, just I know your name thanks to Florence over here and that little servant you have. Um, as much as I appreciate life giving and all of that, I do know you are a demon. So I just wanted a safe precaution for me. Thank you very much.
"A demon? Most interesting," says the figure. "But of course, your kind would not be able to explain or comprehend the works of those such as me. Yes, god or demon would perhaps be adequate for now. Do you wish to save the boy, or do you wish to leave him to his death?"
We do want to save the boy.
I have to save the boy. Otherwise, I'll never hear the end of it from my mother.
We're here to save the boy. We would like your help or advice, as you will.
Advice freely given as a token of good faith. Then listen to what I have to say, and then follow my servant to the place where things must be done. And as the creature finishes saying this, Blake, I'd like you to make a spot hidden check for me, because you're the one who failed your send check before.
Oh no. Okay, that is a 44. That's a regular pass.
As the man, thing, creature, whatever it is, reaches the end of its sentence, the place where things must be done, you swear you see its eyes gleam in the darkness, as if caught on the flame light, and they gleam, and they're not human eyes. They're deep black, like opals, dead, emotionless, nothing, voids. And in that void, Blake, you see nothing but to death. And you suddenly feel as if you and everyone else is in incredible danger right now. But you're the only one to notice this.
Oh.
You're the only one to feel this.
Oh, good. I'm just trying to quietly get everyone's attention. Guys, I don't think we should trust whatever this is. This is it's not good. I don't know what it is. I saw something, and it's not good for any of us.
The creature hears you,
Crap.
standing there, still not moving, and its mouth twists into the faintest hint of an amused smile, and he simply looks at you and he says, "Ah, did you see it? Did you truly see it? For this swamp and everything you've seen plays tricks on the mind, does it not?"
Just Cave remembers when he was investigating the forest's edge. He remembers feeling like this forest was alive, and I want to see if I can make the connection there.
Yeah.
Between the forest, between the swamp and this guy.
Teve, what's your intelligence?
50.
That's enough. It clicks in the instant.
Oh dear.
The forest is designed, and this might be the designer.
Oh.
The thing continues on, seemingly oblivious to any misgivings you have at all. The thing you chase, the one you call the Changeling, Skinwalker, Shapeshifter, 'tis a stain left behind by those of my kind. We are the ones who created it. An experiment across genetic experiment between my kind and yours. We thought we had disposed of it, only for it to hide away. You are not the first to try to hunt it. A man by the name of Edwin Nichols tracked down the beast 20 years ago and managed to kill it. We researched a spell that would allow us to save the boy that it took, but he was never found. Everyone assumed he was dead. But it seems that is not so, and the spawn of the original changeling has reached maturity.
Is this the same Nichols as the president of the Anthropology Club?
The name seems the same.
Yeah.
Can I ask whoever this is for a description and say, we actually got sent here by, a Dr. Nichols?
A man of learning, a man of science, yet with a mind open to all possibilities. He did say that others would come in his stead, that even as he grew older, others would pick up the torch. You know his name, and that is enough, I think. Is it enough for you to put your misgivings to rest? To trust me enough to do what must be done?
At this point, Taves says to him, "Look, I think I've figured something out. If this thing really wanted to cause us harm, it wouldn't really need to do that much. We're inside its realm. This entire swamp is it.
Astutely spoken, says Cyrillus.
Lake's still trying to come to the realization that it's he's talking
So
about
then
Dr. Nichols. So he's kind of
So then,
sorry, go on, Froggy.
no, you're right. No, you go. You go.
Yeah, Blake's having a silent freak out to himself, coming to the realization that Dr. Nichols did not tell us everything, and it's just I think I might need to make a sand check because I hear a little snap within my brain.
Go ahead, make yourself a sand check. Whether you pass or fail, because you're role playing, I will reward you. You might not like the reward, but you will be rewarded nonetheless.
That is a 17. So that is a pass.
That is a pass. You don't lose any sen, but you do remember the earnest zeal that seemed to possess Dr. Nichols, that he seemed insistent that you must enter the swamp, you must be careful. He seemed to understand that something was at stake, something more than the newspapers and the police would lead the public to believe, and yet if he knew of the existence of this thing, if he knew of the shapeshifter, if he knew of this thing that stands before you now, he did not mention it. And you wonder what his motives would have been for concealing this information.
Um, piecing that together has given me a little bit of sense of ease, and I've calmed down a little bit, and I'm just looking at everyone in the group, hoping they came to the same realization about Nichols as I have.
I definitely have come to that realization. Kind of, how do I put it? Not the same way. As soon as I heard the name Nichols, it kind of clicks like, oh yeah, this kind of makes sense on how he did it, how he prepared us, not giving it all of it, but also at the same time, maybe he couldn't give us all of it.
Oh, there's a question. Did he know about the Skinwalker offspring? Because if
That's
he didn't,
where I was gonna.
he's sending us into a place where, like, Cyrillus is maybe not benevolent, but not as
That's
dangerous as the Skinwalker.
I don't know who this Dr. Nichols is that you guys are talking about, but my knowledge of Cyrillus is that he wants solitude. So if he gets rid of this thing, where everybody will leave and not come back. And if Dr. Nichols has sent you in to here, he's obviously chasing fame and fortune, but he doesn't want to do it himself. He wants he's done. He wants you to do all the hard work. And Cyrillus just wants his solitude back. Just wants everybody to leave him alone and his swamp alone.
so
That's what I'm going with.
as like I come to the realization like maybe he doesn't know, maybe all of that. I then turned to Cyrillus and I said, so is my assumption of you correct that you're a demon, or is the folklore that I'm sorry, Froggy, what's your character's name again?
Edna.
Edna. Or is it more of what Edna claims it to be, where you just want your solitude, and if we help you, you will let us go out of this swamp because you want your solitude.
Go ahead and roll for me either a charm or persuade check, please.
Who?
Violet.
All right. It breaks even. So that is it.
Yeah, if it's exactly the same, that's a pass.
Yeah,
As long
it's
as it's not
exactly the
over,
same
yeah.
at 50.
Yeah, that's a pass. Because you know what you want to say, but in this situation, it's all about how you control your voice and your temperament, hence the roll. And You say this to him, and then you watch as that sketchy facsimile of a human face that he wears once again smiles, and this time as he smiles, he opens his mouth wide, and you see that rather than teeth, what is inside his mouth is a row of long, sharp, needle-like pinpricks, fangs rather than teeth. A tongue twists through the bottom fangs, a forked tongue tastes the air, and then he says, "Must the folklore and everything else be mutually exclusive? Could they not both be true? Yes, if you help me repair a mistake done by my people, a mistake that threatens yours, then I shall allow you to leave this swamp unharmed, save for your memories of what you met here."
Oh, I
Nichols doesn't remember. If he's gone through a similar
What you want,
deal,
you forgot.
he doesn't remember.
or either he was driven to insanity. He just sees it as a bad dream.
Cyrilla speaks again. "Whatever your decision, it must be done tonight. The ritual must be performed before the boy completes his metamorphosis, and the cycle continues."
What's to be done with the boy once we have him?
Once you have him, and the ritual is complete, then his life shall continue, and the blood of the changeling which flows in his veins will be purged.
Blake still freaking out just a little bit, like just shaking, but Blake takes a step forward and he's summoning what little courage he has from his father's amulet. Well, not amulet, sorry, pocket watch. It's his only form of, yeah. He's going, "So what can we do to help?"
The components of the ritual must be brought to a sacred clearing at midnight. This is the only way to stop the cycle, but it must be sons or daughters of humanity that read the spell, for it was Dr. Nichols and his assistants who transcribed the necessary words to paper, words that can no longer be rendered in mine tongue.
Where can we find these components?
You need only follow my assistant. And as he says this, he gestures, and once again, one of the branches above shakes, and you all look up just in time to see a large rat-sized shape dart away into the darkness, once again moving too fast for you to catch any more than the briefest glimpse of it, and indeed see that it wears a human face.
Because I've seen him before, I just look up going, "Not again!"
Calm yourself. We need to follow it.
Definitely mushrooms.
Definitely the mushrooms.
He will take you to the place where Nichols left his cache, And once you are ready, we'll take you to where the boy is. You must take the boy and bring him to the grove where I will wait. My assistant will lead you there. Your job is to protect the boy. Do you understand?
I look back at Florence, Edna, Selwyn, and I'm sorry, the music.
Violet.
No, I'm sorry. It's just the music at the best times, and Violet, and I look at you one at a time and go, you, do you think we can do this?
Oh, nah, mate, we're probably all gonna die here.
Yeah, we're all probably gonna die, but we gotta try. You know, we gotta try.
I
It
have
seems
to
we
lift my
have no
mother
other
up. Listen,
choice.
I have to find the boy.
Okay.
If we have a chance to find the boy, save the boy, and fulfill our contract of getting him back his solitude, I think we gotta give it a try.
Plus, I still really want a skinwalker expedition.
Yeah.
Skinwalker, damn it, I'm
Exhibit?
forgetting the word. Exhibit, there we go. I still
There
want a
you go.
skinwalker exhibit.
So
Are you gonna name it after one of us? Or the group? Once you get it?
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
the
Alright.
Bushwhackers expedition. So I take my pocket watch out of my jacket, and with the gold chain I put it around my neck with the weird engravings that I have no idea about but still give me a sense of calm. Going, well, I think I'll need both my hands for this one, and I just keep taking deep breaths and going, okay, let's do this.
Then go, says Cyrillus. Even now I sense the hunger is taking the boy. You must hurry. And then, it's not as if he steps away, slips into the darkness. No, it's more like he reaches out and pulls the darkness around him like a cloak.
Tuxedo
And
Mask, is
he's
that you?
gone. And he's gone. You hear the scurrying of the thing in the branches above, and you follow it, and it leads you onwards, leads you deeper into the swamp, deeper still. So deep now that you can no longer hear running water, the trees themselves deathly silent, as if they anticipate horrible things to come. And then there's a break in the tree line. The creature pauses, still perched on one of the branches above, and it raises one of its little ratty paws and points. And just beyond the tree line is another small clearing, and there you can see the shape of a log cabin, dark, silent, so old that nature has taken it. Vines twist and turn through the window frames, the roof, and the facade looks as if it's about to crumble under its own weight. Florence, you hear the rat thing's voice in your ears. It is inside. You must hurry.
Guys, it's inside. Guys, it's inside.
Alrighty then. And you just hear me cock the shotgun so that I can put fresh bullets in. Let's do this.
We'll approach the log cabin, and as you clamber up the two stairs onto the little veranda and approach the front door and see how the door frame is like bending under the weight of the house above, and the door itself is warped with a long twisting crack running down the front of it. You wonder if it will even be safe to enter this structure.
Can we do some kind of check on it?
Well, depends what you're trying to do. If you want to just see if it is about to fall down, I would ask for a hard spot hidden or perhaps a craft check.
Ooh.
Otherwise, you
28.
could 28 on which skill?
Spot hidden.
And what is your skill?
There's nothing in there, so just
It says
normal.
20. Yeah, you're looking up at it and you're pretty sure you hear it creak as everyone approaches the door, and you're pretty sure you see the whole house just shudder. Or it could just be your imagination.
Can I do a spot hidden check as well?
Yeah, you sure can.
That is a 2 on a 20.
Yeah. You're hearing this old house creak and see how the door is sagged and broken and cracked. And you look around and you see that the front of the house seems to sag down as if it's almost sinking, as if it's slowly on a tilt sinking into the swamp. And you realize that the front door might not be safe, but if you could somehow find a way to get into the house from the back or the top, you might be able to get inside without causing any structural damage or putting yourself in danger.
Can I see if I can bushcraft the door open?
You can also try to do that.
I was about to say, is there windows at the door, or is it not windows at the cabin?
There are no windows, just the door. However, there is a big stone chimney poking out from behind the lip of the roof that you can see.
Well, that was a 28. Was that supposed to be a regular or a half?
For which skill?
For bushcraft.
For bushcraft? I'd say a regular will be enough here.
Okay,
but
that's a pass then.
You take a look at the door, and you're about to just smash it down, but you realize that the door at this point is probably a load-bearing piece of the structure. Ripping the door away could cause the whole front of the house to collapse. So instead, what you do is, using some stuff from your pack, some ropes and some branches, some leaves that you tie together to make more thread out of, you end up extending the length of the rope you have with you to the point where you're able to hurl it and throw it up, catch it on the lip of the chimney. And despite the fact that it's made out of leaves and bits of string and other stuff you've cobbled together from your expedition pack, you're pretty sure it should at least be able to support one person's weight.
Looks like we're going down the chimney like old Santa.
The only question is who'd like to go first.
Who's the smallest in the group?
Actually, yeah, good point.
Yeah, go ahead. What are your size stats?
Mine's 50.
50.
2 50s.
40.
50.
Oh, Edna, 40. You're the smallest. You peer up at the chimney. It's not especially large. It's not especially wide. If anyone has a chance of not
Someone
getting
give me a
stuck in there, yeah, it's gonna be you.
Yep.
I need somebody to give me a boost up on this roof.
Yep, I can do that.
But first, but before that, I want to check and see if there's a back door.
Idea. Go ahead and make a spot hidden check for me.
A 46.
Sure.
6 over the 40.
Oh,
6 over the 40. You can spend luck, or you
Yeah.
can push, or you can just accept it.
Decisions.
How far off were you?
I'll try by 6.
I'd spend the luck.
Yes.
Yeah, what's your luck? All right.
13.
Wait, what?
I know,
13.
She already spent luck once tonight.
Yeah, she did, and she has.
No, I
and
never-
she.
No, she
Oh, you
pushed
never
it.
rolled
No,
luck.
no, I
Pushed.
I pushed it.
Ah, you pushed it, and you got. And you got 13. Well done. So getting around to the back of the cabin is harder than you would have thought. The trees have sort of come out and coalesced around the cabin. And it's almost like the cabin is melting into the tree line. It's that thick, but you're able to careen your neck in just the right way, squeeze under a branch, crawl, get down on your hands and knees, and to your surprise, there actually is a back door. It's just heavily concealed under all that foliage, and there's very thick creepers that are running down it that are wrapped around the door handle and seem to have it held pretty firmly in place. But if you like, Teve, I'll let you use your bushcraft check from before to repurpose your little rope thing and remove the creepers if you want, but you won't be able to then go through the chimney, so it's up to you.
Oh, what do you guys reckon?
Oh,
I mean, there is a back door.
Back door's easier.
Hmm. And we all don't have to shimmy down the chimney and get possibly stuck.
Fair enough. We'll repurpose though.
Yeah. So you turn it into a sort of pulley and use one of your companions as a counterweight, and you rip the vines away, move some branches out of the way, and clear not exactly a path, but a little gap where people can sort of slide through and get to the back door. And Edna, you're the first through. You reach the door, turn the handle, and mercifully find it to be unlocked. You step back as you push the door open, and it creaks, opening into pitch black darkness, and instantly you all register this smell of damp, rotting paper. This sickly sweet, earthy smell emanating from inside the cabin.
Well, one of the first things I do is grab chucking some salt in there. Ahead of us, I'm scattering salt ahead of us.
Yep, over the threshold of the door.
Yep, I'm scattering salt.
And so you all file in through the door. It's not until Teve steps in, the last one, raises his torch and adds light to the situation, that you're actually able to see what's inside. The flames expel the darkness, and almost the entirety of the inside of the cabin is taken up by rows upon rows of wooden bookshelves, collapsing under their own weight, stacked with hundreds upon hundreds of tomes, cardboard boxes, glass jars containing rolled up pieces of papyrus. And you all remember that Dr. Nichols mentioned several decades ago, the Haynes College removed several materials from the library to be stored in what he called a safer place. And you think that you're staring at the restricted section, a portion of the restricted section of Haynes College's library.
at this point, my eyes kind of light up and forget where we are, and just thinking, much research.
There's a lot of it. Each of the shelves has a little placard with a series of years and dates. It seems like all the research for all of the cases that the club ever worked on in its original years is stored here. Teve, you were saying something?
It occurs to me that it would, like, while we're searching and reading through stuff, it would probably be better off if we have multiple light sources. So I'm gonna bushcraft us some more torches.
Yeah, go ahead, roll that up.
That is a 15.
15. Teve steps out for a few minutes while you're all like strolling through the aisles, trying to squint and see the titles of the books. He comes back with a torch for each of you, and perhaps in a very unsafe way, just like tosses the torch across the room, and you catch it out of midair, and he says, "Good on you, mate."
Sorry.
Yeah, it'll brighten your day.
Can
Thank you, Tave, but be careful. We're surrounded by books.
Yeah, damn paper doesn't burn so well.
I go librarian ballistic and rummage through the papers
Sure can.
or anything of
Make
useful?
me anything of use. Go ahead, make me library use. I was gonna ask for a hard, but you can just do it with a regular now because Teve's given everyone a torch, and with the flame light, you're able to see that the shelves are organized, so you have a pretty good idea where to look, where you'll find something that you need.
Right, that is a 10 out of a 60, so that is an extreme success.
Dream success. You don't even need the torches. You don't even know that he's gotten you torches until he taps you on the back of the shoulder and hands you yours. And you've already found what you're looking for. You've isolated the aisle that has the year where the first incidents would have occurred, and you beeline straight in on a nondescript little leather-bound black book with no title or any identifying marks on it. And then you smile with a flourish as you open it up and show everyone else where it's got written right there on the front page. Edward Nichols Expedition Journal.
Guys, look what I found. And my eyes are like child's wonder, and I'm just beaming with a smile. For a brief moment, I forgot where I was. I'm just Blake is completely in his element, just reading, studying, and there it dawns on him. Oh,
Seems
Yeah.
like Specs in his element.
Yeah, he's flipping through at a feverish pace, and then he clears his throat and begins to read aloud. And in Owlbear Rodeo,
Oh.
I'm putting up a handout for you.
oh, I was wondering what happened.
You flip through you flip through the pages, December 1882, January 18, until you come to March 1883, and you see the word changeling scrawled on several of the pages. You pause here, lay the book out on a table that's half collapsed under under the stress of years, and you begin to read. The Changeling, A New Discovery, March 28th, 1883. I will attempt to retell the story as best I can of our encounter with a new creature we called a changeling. It was unlike any creature we'd encountered before. My team has hunted unnatural creatures before, including ghouls and ghasts, and we believed that was what we had here.
Bless you.
Excuse me. But alas, no. It was far more sinister. While hunting strange snake-like creatures with arms in the Hockomock Swamp southwest of Boston, we believed we lost one of our team members, Jacob King, a large but quiet man. After hours of searching, we discovered him, tired and bleeding from a bite wound. We treated him and returned with him to our camp. He felt better the next day and rejoined our team. We began to find serpent people at a much higher rate now, and at the time thought nothing of it. Jacob was now a better shot than ever before, and was far more vocal than he had ever been known to be. Still, we thought nothing of the changes, or when he insisted our group stay together for safety. Our normal operation is to separate into two teams to cover more ground, and despite Jacob's arguments, we did what we normally did. Only 3 hours later, the second team found the body of Jacob King. Was naked and mutilated, his heart ripped from his chest. Other animals had been feeding on him post-mortem, and he had obviously been dead for 2 or more days. This begs the question, who was the Jacob King who was with the other team? When we confronted the creature with the remains of our friend, he darted out of the camp with an unearthly speed we could not fathom. I wasn't even able to get a shot off before he disappeared into the woods. The hunt was on. His trail was easy enough to follow, but when we came upon the discarded skin of a creature we could not identify, we hesitated. It appeared to be human skin, shed like a snake would shed its own. From there, the trail disappeared. You take another gulp as you turn the page and continue to read, and I put up the next part of the handout.
Oh, wow.
It cost us most of my team hunting down this killer. With unnatural strength and speed, its ability to turn into any creature it has killed, it was all we could do to find it and kill it. The key was to find it in the short period of time between transformations. It takes him a few minutes to complete the change effect, and that window is when you must strike. In its natural form, its skin is white with sharp claws and teeth, yes?
I really hate to do this, but we have to go on a quick intermission. One of the cats have gone missing.
Oh no. Yeah, let's go on a brief intermission. Alright guys, back in 5.
All right, sorry about this.
That's okay. Back in 5.
Oh yeah. Oh god, I hate the sound of when you just pull in at it and nothing comes out. Oh, then something came out. Oh my god, that looks so bad. Okay,
cat got your tongue? We'll cook that cat in a salty broth.
Can someone please clip this? And every you need to Billy, you need to be a good girl. Oh my god. Seems like Liam is in zoo.
Okay. We can already do some of it.
I mean, yeah.
Why do you sound so grumpy?
I'm not grumpy. Blah, blah, blah.
Why are you shooky then?
I'm not shocky. Oh, we hit your hotter. Hit your hotter. No, something. I'm at work. Fucking rude. Oh.
Stick 'em up, cowboy.
Alright, okay. That was fucking perfect. Can someone fucking clip that? Can someone please clip that? Oh, I see.
Water's overflowing where you froze that trough. That's helpful.
Ski off! Sounds like you got the water moving along, brother. What next?
Go back to the main menu. That's just crazy talk.
Run.
Oh, come on! Wow.
It's not the bag that's important.
My
It's
mum
the
is a bag.
It's the goddamn hat. Look at that hat. It's fucking beautiful. Jesus. Oh no. Oh no, that technically pushes us over. No.
Take a shot.
Fuck. I'm just gonna keep controlling while you dish out shots, but open the X button, the next menu by pressing the X button. Save. We'll get into that later. I can tell you how this works. Look at this great room. Isn't it great? Isn't this lovely?
He was attacking the ant and I got in the way.
Oh.
And he just fucking charged me.
Yeah. You were an unfortunate bystander.
Yep.
Do you have more bandages? Cause I got at least one on me.
I do not.
Calvo can. Hold on. Let me go to my inventory. Let me just drop it.
The little shit was in the hallway cupboard in a deep box. Not responding at all. He was in a deep sleep.
My cat, like, we've had him for 8 years and he still finds places in the house that we didn't even know, like, a cat could fit in there.
Yeah,
It was like, where's the cat? And then you find him in the weirdest place.
A few years ago, there was I lived with some housemates who had cats, and one of the cats went missing, and we looked everywhere for it, and then like we ended up giving up for the night after looking for like I think it was like 3 hours or so. Anyway, I go back to my room and I start hearing this meow. I'm like, the fuck? And then I go and open up my bloody it's like cupboards like that I had my TV on. And I opened it up, like the cat had somehow gotten in there and then closed the door
Oh.
behind me.
Oh yeah, mine. Yeah, that's what my cat does all the time. Gets in like rooms and cupboards, shuts the door, and gets stuck in there.
Yeah,
You fucking idiot! You're the one who shut the door in the first place.
pretty much.
All right. Well, have we?
Typical cat
We
behavior.
got a froggy
Yeah,
here.
typical.
Are you?
Thank you.
Are you still?
We do.
Everyone's here. Excellent. I'm sorry about
I
that,
think
Dale.
everyone's here. That's okay. That's okay. We're fine. We're not stressed. Let's get back into it. 3, 2, 1. Here comes the music. The next entry is dated several months later, July 15th, 1883. The snake-like people seemed pleased that we had killed the changelings. One of the creatures agreed to talk with us. This proved to be a profitable exchange for both sides, and the groundwork for a truce was introduced. In addition, more information about the changeling came to light. The changeling, it seems, was a misbegotten result of an experiment conducted decades ago by the serpent people. They sought to create one of their number who could transform into a human and interact undetected with men, whether by magic or by science. They did not say. But like Dr. Frankenstein's monster, their creation proved uncontrollable, and they have been hunting it and its progeny since. After it kills its prey by eating its heart within 24 hours, it can then assume that form and is indistinguishable from others of that species. It may change in and out of forms at will, and only takes a few minutes to do this. It reproduces with either the snake people or a human partner by becoming a matching form and mating as normal. The offspring will appear to be normal, if pallid, until its 12th summer, when it will develop hunger. Once it is eaten of a heart, it will take on the full features of the changeling. The serpent people have developed a ritual that can be performed on the changeling's offspring that will subdue the hunger for many years and prevent the transformation if performed within 24 hours of it eating a heart. At a clearing under the moon, a circle of fires must be set. Place the offspring in the circle with the heart of a creature recently killed. The offspring must avoid the temptation for many minutes while sandalwood joss sticks are burned. Meanwhile, someone must be singing to Yig to remove the curse from the offspring. Uhil Volflagen Yigor, Sayaith Thalma Geb I, Haman Algrean, Sistelbasern Yign. This roughly translates to, the people pray to the aspect of Yig. We call our father here for answers. We are worthless. But call for a lost one. We pray for Yig's protection.
I'm sorry, out of game, but this entire time I was going, oh my god, it has to be Yig.
And there's his name on the page.
So,
finish reading the entry and stand back to let everyone else take in what they've just heard.
Can I do a... Wait. Can I do a history check, to see if I can find out more information about Yig to relate to the others?
Sure, but it'll have to be a hard pass, because Yig is a mythos entity,
yes.
And accurate information is going to be hard to come by, unless you happen to have first-hand experience with the mythos, which you don't yet.
So we're looking for a 35. And we got a 27!
27. Nice. Spend a few more minutes flipping through the book, checking the others that were in the cardboard box you found it in, and there's a few more entries, nothing else that's specifically related to the changeling, but in the months and years following this incident, it seems Dr. Nichols conducted some research into Yig itself. all he's written is that Yig is one of the old gods, the patron of the serpent people. And while it can be a vengeful god, it will render aid when it is willingly and sincerely given, but it will not brook disobedience or wasting its time.
All right, regaling this knowledge, and showing the group this page, I kind of apologized to the group before, guys, before when I said we couldn't trust this entity, yeah, it turns out we can. We just can't disobey him, but he will help us. Yeah, as I said, we can't really disobey him.
Sounds like my mother.
This Yig, he from this read in front of us, he is oh, how do I put it? I'm not really sure. Sort of a snake god, if you will. If I recall back to my various readings, this might interest you, Australian folk. Think of the rainbow serpent.
Well, that explains his pin-like teeth and forked tongue. Too.
The real question is, could any of this stuff, this magic spell and ritual, actually be real? Could this actually be what can save Jimmy Campbell?
Well, if it's what we've got to work on, that's what we do.
So what else do we have to look like? Blake has immediately, because of all the studying and whatnot, he's like on top of the world at the moment. He's found a newfound courage. He's like, all right, guys, we have to find the stuff for the I was about to say offering.
Books are your crack.
Essentially.
We need symbols.
What do we need?
There should be plenty of joss sticks and stuff like that around too.
Yes. So everyone, how big's the cabin, by the way?
Not too big. Maybe about the size of a standard bedroom.
Okay.
There's actually not a lot of room in here, which is why it's astounding that they've got all these books crammed into this tiny space.
Bigger on the inside.
Yeah, almost.
I'm just going, all right, everyone, pick a corner, leave no stone unturned, even check the floorboards, see if we can find what we can for this ritual.
All right. Anyone who'd like to check may go ahead and make a spot hit, and I'll also accept track.
I got a 38, so that's a pass.
My spot hidden is a 1. You can't get better than that.
Yep. So Teve notices that some of the floorboards are scratched in a particular way. He points them out to you. And all you have to do is cast your eyes in that direction to notice that one of the floorboards is raised about a third of an... 15, yep. So you notice as well. And a 12. So, yep.
I think we're good. A 1 trumps everything.
Yeah. So everyone notices. It's not... Everyone notices once Teve points out there's weird scratches over there, and you see one of the floorboards raised about a third of an inch above the rest, and Blake is the eager one, so he immediately kneels down and lifts the floorboard up, and sure enough, underneath, there's a little long wooden box. You lift it out and lift the lid open, and inside are various what you would call occult spell paraphernalia. There's like little glass jars with miscellaneous powders and ointments in them, incense sticks. And it doesn't take you long to locate the exact type of joss sticks that the book mentioned.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were still going.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay. Well, it seems like we've found what we're looking for. So this is fantastic. Blake is nervously but happy laughing. As I said, he's just like surrounded, as Teef said, books on my crack.
Yeah. So he like scoops up the book in one hand and the box of components in the other, and with renewed purpose begins to step back out into the swamp.
Actually, before we leave, would I just be able to take like do a spot hidden, and depending on the role, take a book to study if we make it out alive.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like-
With that one you got just now, I'll let you take a book. Do you want to just take? Do you want to do a lucky dip, grab one off the shelf, and look at it later, or is there a specific type of research you'd like to do in your downtime?
We'll do a lucky dip, and it will be the keeper's discretion of what I grab at the end of the session. All right, so
All
out
right.
of 100, that is an 80.
An 80. All right, I'll note that down.
Before you mentioned that, I was going to say on our way out that I'd grab a couple of books to chuck at him whenever he freaks out.
Yep, so you grab a few as well.
Yeah, I did that as well.
I was just going to grab a book because it's Egypt. There's Egyptian. You said there was fire and stuff there, so I was just going to grab that because, like,
There's also some books on Egyptology. Yeah. So,
is there any books on astronomy?
I'm sure there is. Yeah, well, you all passed your spot hidden checks from before, so I'd say you each have the opportunity to take one article of an interest of your choice.
Taking.
Can I DM you something, DM, to see if it would be there?
You sure can.
And then I could take that thing.
I would like to take a astronomy book that may or may not help in finding out more information on the
Glucky? At the what you showed Blake earlier?
Yeah, the occult symbol.
I'll grab a book on Egyptian rituals.
Rather than anything specific, I'm just going to grab 3 random books because I'm not planning on reading them. I'm planning on chucking them at Specs.
I'm sure that's fine. And guess what, Billy? That book can be found. Do you want that book that you've messaged me about? Okay.
Yes, I will take that one.
Yeah. You're just like, you're not looking for anything in particular. You're just like seeing books with this one's about Egyptology, so you grab that. And when you step back out into the swamp, your bags are weighed down a considerable bit by books and other things you've lifted from the library. And fair enough. You understand now that Dr. Nichols has seen and dealt with some very real, very terrifying things. And now that you have awakened to this fact, you're sure this is not the last you'll see of events of this type. And so, knowledge is a powerful weapon. And with that in mind, you trudge off, following Blake now as he eagerly heads once more through the tree line. And this time, Blake, you're so eager, so filled with a sense of purpose from finding these old journals that you even chance a look up above, catch the rat thing, see its wrinkled old face staring down at you, smiling. And you manage to lock eyes with it for just a second, just enough to acknowledge that you see it. And it looks away and, chittering loudly, scurries along the branches, leading you further into the swamp. The rat thing... Go ahead.
Okay, this is fine. It's fine.
This is fine.
Not today.
Everything's fine. The
Just
rat
clutch your
thing.
books. Just clutch your books.
Clutch your books for support, and Teeves probably got one like Ray's ready to throw at the back of your head.
Nerdy likes his bookie work.
The rat thing leads you quickly down a barely visible trail through the swamp and into yet another clearing. Your eyes are immediately drawn to the horrid image of a large wolf, still alive somehow, despite having had its chest ripped wide open. Its heart, barely beating, shines wetly in the moonlight. The whimpers from the wolf are barely audible. As you move into the small clearing, a rustling noise to your left and a yelp reveals a very pale young man. The blood vessels can clearly be seen through his translucent skin, his ribs and other bones easily seen in his gaunt form. His red hair seems to have faded, his fingernails are lengthening to claws, and his teeth are sharpened and pointed. This is what has become of Jimmy Campbell. His eyes widen as he sees you step towards him. All silent save for the pained whimpering of the wolf. And as his mouth opens, as his teeth begin to imperceptibly lengthen before your eyes, he peers down at the gleaming heart of the wolf, his eyes expressing a terrible, insatiable hunger.
Can I just quickly grab my lasso?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I feel like lassoing him right now would be a pretty good idea.
Yeah, especially as he's beginning to reach down and use his new claws to rip it out. So Teve reaches for his rope, raises it, and what are you gonna lasso? You're gonna pull the wolf away from him? You're gonna just like lasso him so he can't eat it and drag him away?
That's a good question.
Yeah, well, we're gonna need that heart, and we're gonna need Jimmy.
At this point, while they're making that split decision, I'm just yelling out to either the rat who may or may not still be there, or at this point, I'm assuming that we were speaking to Yig. I'm just, Yig, we've done what you asked. We have Jimmy. We have the heart. Come help us.
Yeah, I'm gonna lasso the wolf because I figure the wolf's not gonna be struggling if it's just about dead.
A good assumption to make. Go ahead and make me a throw check. And Blake, you're calling out to Yig right now. Go ahead and make a power check for me.
That's a 4.
What's my power? My power's 50. Just a normal?
You're doing fucking rope chicks on the back of a horse right now.
Is it? Is this just a normal?
That's
just a normal power check.
Okay, that is a 46, which is a barely pass. Or pass
46.
But barely.
You meet eyes with Teve as he readies his rope, and then you call out, Yig, help us! You don't get any response, nothing audible anyway, but you do hear that telltale chittering of the rat thing eagerly bubbling away, waiting for you to get the boy and get the heart and follow it. And then, for just a split second, the unmistakable sense that something in the darkness of the swamp is staring at you, watching you, taking size of you, and wondering with amusement what you will do next. And then it passes. Meanwhile, Teve steps forwards and the rope is flung out and like a tentacle lashes, grabbing the wolf, wrapping around its bloodied torso and dragging it away. The wolf yelps feebly and then breathes its last as it's dragged, leaving a long, wet trail of blood leading from the boy straight to Teve. The boy just looks up, his eyes still wide, his face screwed up with hunger, staring not at the wolf now, but at you, Teve. That same hunger in his eyes. His face expressionless, emotionless.
Oh shit.
Teve, make a san check for me, please.
Alright. So that's against current sanity, yeah?
Yes.
Current sanity, yep.
It's 26.
And what's your
26?
29.
What's your current sanity?
Sorry.
That's
45.
That's a pass. So that is a loss of 1 point of san. As his eyes seem to flicker for a moment, his pupils widen, elongate, become flat, and the eyes of a reptile stare into yours for a second. And then the boy blinks, and he's human again. He stares down at the wolf, looks up at you, and then, once again, his mouth drops open. He sees the state he's in, his hands covered in blood, his clothes torn, his hair wild around his face. And he says, I'm sorry, mister. And he buries his face in his hands and begins to weep. I know what made me do it. Daddy said it. My real daddy said I need to do it.
Oh, it seems like we've got Campbell. That's it. Jimmy Campbell's gone to normal. Who has the best persuade here?
I have a 50.
I have 16.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. For
Yeah,
me to
not
do
me.
it.
I don't have anything in persuade, but I
So-
have charm.
Oh,
I
charm.
have-
Yes. Actually, yeah,
Oh,
charm.
so-
Not charm the
I
boy,
have
but sort of
fast talk this way as well.
calm him down a little bit and tell him everything's okay, type thing.
But
So-
I suppose if anyone's got psychology.
No.
No. So, can I roll a persuade since I have it at 50?
You sure can. How are you going to approach him?
That is a
Put down the gun.
32. So that is a 32. That is a pass.
That is a pass. So you step forwards, you hold out your hands to show that you're not a threat, lowering the gun, not dropping it, just lowering it so it's not pointed at him. And then what do you say to him?
Jamie, it's okay, darling. Your mommy is very worried about you and wants you to come home. If you come with us, we can get you home. We can get you fixed up so that you won't have these cravings anymore. Is that okay, darling? You want to go
Look-
home to your mommy?
Looks up at you. He still looks as wild as before, but there's suddenly something more human in his face. Perhaps it's the tear streaks down his cheeks. He nods, and he says, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be like him. Take me home.
All right, darling. We'll take you home. We just got to do this little thing first. Then you'll be all good and ready to go home to your mommy, okay?
The rat thing chitters somewhere in the darkness, scurries away, leading you to the sacred swamp. And as he hears the branch creak, as he sees something disappearing into the darkness out of the corner of his eye, Jimmy stops in his tracks. He raises a finger pointing at the tree line and he says, What's that?
Darling, that's just a friend. That's a friend of ours trying to help fix this so you can go home to your mommy. That's a friend of ours. Okay? There's no need to worry. We'll protect you from your daddy. Protect him from that man.
Make another persuade check for me, please.
That is a 36 out of 50.
He opens his mouth to ask another question. You see his eyes beginning to drift upwards to watch for the thing, to try to catch sight of it. But then there's something in your voice, the urgency, the unspoken desperation that tells him everything he needs to know. He closes his eyes, clamping them shut tight, reaches out and wraps one of his arms around your left leg, and then he just nods and says, Take me out of here.
All right. We will. I look at the rest of the party and I just nod as I just, with the shotgun still in the right hand, the left hand gently comes down and pats his head and like holds him to my body, kind of thing.
And you press on, listening once more for the rustling of the branches, the chittering and squeaking of the rat thing, leading you through the impenetrable blackness It's less like you're traveling through a swamp and more like you're traveling between different worlds, that each time you step into the darkness, you're crossing the boundary, moving through this endless blackness from one pinprick of light in the sea of black to another. And then, I'd like everyone to go ahead and make a listen check for me.
54.
54?
49, which is
Just a
1
pass.
point.
81.
10. And I have nothing in it, so I don't know.
Oh, that's a pass. I think the listen's base is 10, so that's just a pass. So 2 passes in the group.
Well,
That
it
is
says
enough.
20%, so...
Yeah, so 10 is definitely a pass.
Okay.
I will say you're lucky. Otherwise, something would have got the drop on you. As you make your way through the swamp, trying to stay on the overgrown trail, you suddenly hear a cacophony of squawking. You raise your torch, shining the light into the air, and see hundreds of crows, falcons, hawks, ravens, and more blotting out the sky, blotting out the stars and the moon above, a living amalgamation of hundreds of pinprick eyes, beaks, and feathers. You look on in horror as the birds straighten, turn towards you, and begin to dive. What do you do?
Alright, how many of us have the torches that Teve made?
All of you.
Everyone.
We've all got a torch.
Well, we're just gonna have to burn them all.
Yeah, put the, sorry, I'm word vomiting. Alright. Billy, can you mute, please? Thank you. Raise the torch above my head, and sort of like start waving around, trying to be a deterrent, if you will.
Everyone else?
I'm gonna reach into my rucksack and pull out the rubbing alcohol and take a swig and fire breathe.
Oh, damn.
Oh my.
Okay.
I love that.
Are the other two of you, are the others also gonna use their torches to try and bat them
I'm
away?
gonna
I'm
try
gonna use
to
the
while
torch.
also protecting little Jimmy that's attached to my leg.
You have to
I'm gonna
shotgun,
sort of
woman.
Yeah,
You have
use
no
the-
hands.
Yeah, I have no hands, so I'm just gonna try to protect little Jimmy.
Gonna say that me and I'll grab Florence and we'll kind of back to Billy's character. Brain just went totally blank. There. We're gonna
Violet.
back to her.
Yep.
To Violet. We're gonna back to her, and we're going to like form like a protective sort of circle with Billy in the middle of us. So like that, and we've got like all like 3. You know what I mean? So he's in between the 3 of us, and we've got the torches and the
Who's
shotgun,
protecting the
so-
wolf? Because no one took his heart out.
Well, I assume Teve's been dragging it along because
Teve's-
he's like
Teve's obviously had
hogtied
it.
it. And...
Okay.
I never undid the loot.
I assume he's just got it like hogtied and slung over his shoulder or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
No wasting that
sweet.
good meat.
We're I'm if anything I'm got Violet's back, and I've grabbed again grabbing Florence and pulling in so that Jimmy's in the middle of us
Yep, Florence, you
And-
let her do this?
because we
Yeah.
need to protect him. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta
Alright.
protect the kid.
Alright. The kid screams as soon as he sees that carpet of darkness descending from above. He screams and shouts, "He doesn't want me to leave!" And then you move in, blocking him and Violet from the cawing death above from the from the hundreds of talons and beaks and gleaming hungry eyes, raising your torches to try and keep them away. So, I would like everybody, except for Violet, because she is protecting the boy, to go ahead and roll either for me a hard strength check or a dodge check.
Oh yeah, I'm going dodge.
I have to go strength.
What's dodge?
That's half your
dodge,
dex.
there.
If you don't have it, it'll be half your dex, but you can also go for half your strength if you want in this case.
Okay, I'm gonna have to spend some luck because my dodge is 60 and I rolled a 63.
Is this a combat thing? Can we spend like a push?
You can spend luck. This doesn't really count as combat
I
yet.
rolled a 2.
Yeah,
Two?
that's
Nice.
a really hard fail. I got 99.
Ooh.
Ooh, you can push that if you like.
Oh, do you want to try? Also, I failed with a 38.
No.
Liam, are you
No.
pushing?
Oh, you know what? For entertainment value, I'll push. What about you, Crystal? Are you pushing?
I rolled again and I rolled 95.
Oh, shit.
So she failed on the push.
Yep, that's an 80. So we both failed that push. Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
All right. So Teve steps forwards and he says, come on, you bloody bleeding things. And he opens his mouth and spits. Well, he thinks he's fire breathing. He's more just like spitting like alcohol and various different tinctures and bush remedies at them. And the birds keep their distance as they're pelted with different liquids and things. And he manages to keep them at bay for a few seconds.
Just for a second, I'm spitting this stuff through the fire, so
through the fire, yeah. It is the light, yeah. So the flames roar out, and several birds caw and scream in agony as they're burnt to cinders before you. The rest of the flock disperses, flies up into the air. And then, while that's happening, Blake, you're swinging your torch. The birds are coming closer. You swing to your right, and a crow darts out of the way as 5 more bear down. You whirl around, raise your torch up, shake it above your head. But these aren't normal birds. They don't seem to care about the flames at all, just nonchalantly dodging out of the way and then dive bombing back down. And before you know what's happening, you hear the flapping of the wings. You can feel their feathers brushing against your face. And then, sure enough, the stinging pain of a talon, and then another one, and then a beak biting into your shoulders, tearing at your clothing, and you take 4 points of damage as blood begins to flow, as the birds, excited by the violence, seem to caw even louder as you hear yet more of them bearing down upon you. Over at the other side of the clearing, Jimmy screams, clamps his hands in front of his eyes, and sinks to his knees as Violet holds him tight. To her back, Edna's doing an okay job swinging the burning torch, not to try to scare them off, but to hit them out of the air like a baseball bat, swinging it around, and thwack, she strikes a bird just as it dive bombs down towards them. It caws in pain and spirals to the ground. And then, in the chaos, in the confusion, you hear Florence scream. You whirl around, and Florence, there's so many of them, hundreds of birds all bearing down at once, all these tiny pinpricks of light, their hungry eyes. And then the worst possible thing happens. As you step forwards, as you raise your torch to follow Edna's lead and bat them away, you feel the tip of your foot nudge against a knotted root in the earth, and you stumble forward screaming as you hurl your torch through the air. The the flock disperses to let it sail through, and then it falls somewhere in the blackness, harmlessly away. The birds caw, sensing weakness, and bear down, and then you all hear Florence scream in pain as she's assaulted by the pointed beaks and the talons as they rip the clothing from her left shoulder as her skin is torn like paper, and you take 7 points of damage, Florence. You fall to the ground, overtaken by the pain, and the flock moves in hungrily to finish what they started. Jimmy continues to scream. His screams almost as loud as the birds, but not quite. All right, Teve and Edna, you've successfully fended off the birds. You can act and do something, and Jimmy's guardian, you also have the chance to do something, but bear in mind if you're also trying to watch over Jimmy, it will be a bit hard to defend yourself or do anything else.
How close is Florence to me? Well, basically, she should be fairly
Yeah,
close.
she's fairly close.
Essentially
like
on the other
no
side
more
of
than a
me.
meter. Yeah, no more
Alright,
than a meter
alright,
away.
well, I'll try and move to Florence to try and get the birds off of her as well. Like, if I'm swinging, I should be close enough to grab her and drag her.
Yeah.
Drag her towards me a little bit or something.
Yeah, alright. Teve, are you gonna do anything? Or are you just focusing on yourself?
I suppose I will try and set more of them on fire with my excellent fire breathing skills.
Yep. Would you like to target your efforts towards the ones that are attacking Blake or the ones that are attacking Violet?
Was anyone else helping either of them?
We do have Edna helping Violet, or trying to.
Well, then I'll help Blake.
Meanwhile, I'm just on the ground
Yeah, screaming, reaching up, trying to pull them off you, and each time you rip one off, 3 more land and start digging their talons, scratching at the back of your neck. Alright, I would like Teve to go ahead and make me a... You're still fire breathing. I'll let you choose. You can either have... Well, you're actually trying to save someone, so dodge won't apply. Go ahead and make me a bushcraft check.
Bushcraft check. Oh, this could go really badly for
Yep.
Okay. Pray for me, Liam. Pray.
Pray for Mojo.
Oh, that was close. My dice just tried to run off the desk. That is a 37. Well, it's 46 in total, so...
You're lucky. You're lucky. Blake, you're cowering in the fetal position, grunting, and you've accepted certain death. You're waiting for the one last pointed stab that will end your life, and then suddenly there's a whoosh, and you feel this intense heat, and then you hear birds calling out, screaming in pain in unison, and at once all of the birds on you depart. Their wings beat at your face as they scramble for the sky, desperately trying to get away from Teve, who's running forwards, breathing fire like a dragon in front of you. He manages to drive them away just long enough for you to clamber back to your feet. But then, above you, the flock reassembles. Their eyes gleam hungrily once more, and they prepare to double down, to try again. Meanwhile, Edna, you get the choice between either a strength check or a fighting brawl check for what you're doing.
Hello? I check.
Oh, hey, what was that? Sorry, what was that?
You have the choice between a fighting brawl check or a strength check for what you're trying to do.
Oh god. I don't have any skill in brawl. It's strength's probably my best bet. So
ahead.
just regular strength.
Regular strength.
I have 49 out of 50.
49 out of 50. Oh, you're very lucky. You lock eyes with you lock eyes with Florence for just a moment. And then rush forwards, swinging your torch, you bash one of the larger birds in its chest, hear something crack, and then slash forwards. The flame cuts through the air, cinders and sparks fly off. One of them hits a bird's wing, and it screeches in pain as it takes flight, and soon the others follow it, and you take advantage of this chaos to reach down and grab Violet and drag her...
Florence.
And grab Florence and drag her towards you, and where Violet stands firmly, steadfastly in front of Billy, while he weeps, while he buries his face in her leg and cries and screams. And at this moment, Violet, I'd like you to make a spot hidden check for me, because this whole time you haven't been fighting, so you might have noticed something.
Spot hidden, right?
Yep, spot hidden.
That is a 16. The dice gods are on my favor tonight.
As the birds regroup in the sky above, seemingly more than there were before, even though you're sure you've at least hurt some of them, there seems to be twice as many. You can't even see the canopy of the trees above us, this big black moving carpet of feathers. And as the birds prepare to dive again, you notice one bird in particular, a large, fat, greasy looking black raven illuminated in the light of the torch, and under his eye is a long red gash where his cheek would be as a human.
His dad.
Cries Jimmy, he's here for me!
Not if I can help it, darling. And with that being said, I raise up the shotgun and take aim at that raven and then pull the trigger at it just to see if I can deter it to fly away.
Go ahead, roll me your firearms and we'll see what the shot did.
Oh, okay, that is a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. As soon as you see it, you reach for the gun, one-handed, not at all prepared to take the recoil, and you pull the trigger. The kick of the gun knocks you off your feet. You immediately fall backwards and hear Jimmy scream as you land on top of him. He rolls out from underneath, still screaming. But you look up at where the bird was, and instead there's feathers floating in the air, a red mist where the bird used to be. You're sure you hit him, but you didn't see what happened then. Did you kill him or merely drive him away? Either way, suddenly the cacophony stops. All is silent. And all of the birds assembled flap their wings and depart, dispersing into the darkness. Within seconds, you are alone once more. Florence, you've taken 7 points of damage. Go ahead and make a constitution check for me, please, to see if you're still conscious, because that is a major wound. Because five hit points or more always counts as a major wound. And if you've sustained a major
26.
wound... 26? And what is your con?
60.
60. You're not sure how you're still conscious. Your whole body is in pain. Your
Can I
top's
get in there
being...
with some first aid?
Yeah, as soon as things are quiet, Teve's already there, pulling you away from the others, and in this jumble of half-conscious pain, you're vaguely aware of him kneeling down over you, applying something to the lacerations on your neck, on your arms. Go ahead, Teve, make me a first aid check.
That is a 47. And my first aid is 54.
Lovely. The pain dulls. You're not sure what he did to your wound. You look down and there's some sickly yellow goop on it and a hastily applied bandage, but the pain is rapidly fading, Florence, and
We'll
somehow...
give him some salt again too.
The pain rapidly flares up again as Edna applies salt to the wound, but this jolts you back to your senses, and you're suddenly fully alert. Are they gone? Says Jimmy, still not opening his eyes, his hand still clasped tight to his face.
What about Blake? He's still in bad shape.
Yeah, you didn't sustain a major wound though. You realise now that although you did sustain a fair bit of damage, you don't appear to be bleeding out, although it sure does hurt.
I thought I would have. I've gone from 10 to 6.
Yeah, but you only took 4, so it's not a major wound.
Oh, okay.
So you need to take at least 5 to get a major wound, and basically, if you ever run out of HP in Call of Cthulhu while having a major wound, you instantly die.
Yes.
So, yep.
Did whatever Steve did heal me any hit points or
Yeah, you recover 1 hit point, and you no longer have a major wound. Which means you're only in danger of falling unconscious unless you take a whole heap of damage at once. He was coming back for me, says Jimmy. He won't let me leave. Said he's been alone too long.
Jimmy, darling, did you not just see? I'm pretty sure I shot him, and he left. I did promise you we're getting you back to your mama one way or another. All right?
He wipes a tear away, sniffles, and nods. Up ahead, you hear the chittering of the rat thing, urging you to hurry up, follow it. Time is of the essence. Do you continue on?
Yep.
Can I quickly, as fast as possible, give... Oh, what's your name, Liam?
Blake. Or Specs.
Can I give Blake some quick first aid?
Sure can. Go ahead and roll a first aid check for me. You're allowed to do 1 first aid check for free on each character per in-game day.
Cool.
Not per
that
session.
That was a 32, so that's a pass.
Yeah. And suddenly, Blake, you breathe a sigh of relief. The pain is gone and your mind is clear once more as he heals 1 hit point to you.
I'm just coughing up. Okay, just picture this: just coughing up cartoony black feathers out of my mouth. Just
yeah.
Oh, thank you, T. And I'm just clutching. No, my books are in my little backpack. I'm clutching my pocket watch that's on my chest. It's like, I normally don't say this, but holy shit, I almost died. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Probably not the first time tonight.
Well, I think we better get going.
You clutch the books tightly to your chest, complete with that formula, the spell that you need to recite, and you press on. The rat creature appears once more, calls out for you to follow him, and so you do. does not take long for you to reach a circular clearing that has obviously been prepared for you. Torches have been set in a semicircle, casting an array of shadows across the neatly kept grass. Within the semicircle of torches is a stone altar adorned with flowers, fruits, and dead birds, very similar to the ones you just encountered. A feeling of power runs through your bodies as you step out into this clearing, as if you can feel the energy of the earth coursing through you. You feel invincible, as if anything is possible this night.
Ooh,
The rat thing chitters. The rat thing chitters, and Florence, and this time Blake, hear its voice. It is here, it must be done. And then it scurries away into the undergrowth and is not seen again. Cyrillus has prepared the grove for the ritual. Perhaps he's even out there in the darkness somewhere, watching. Now you need only to conduct the ritual.
Alright,
What are we doing
Actually-
here? Go ahead.
While everyone else is setting up the ritual, because I probably don't really know how to do ritual shit, can I put a couple of traps around?
Yeah, probably a wise idea. Go ahead and roll me a survival check, please.
It's a 26.
Yeah, I'll leave you blokes and gals to this, says Teve. As you busy yourself preparing the ritual, he steps away. And what do you want to do, Teve? Just set up some traps around the perimeter, some snares, and... Do you want to focus on traps that restrain whatever's coming for you, or do you want to focus on traps that make a noise and give you a warning?
I'd say, oh, well, the restraining ones are going to make a noise regardless, because if something gets restrained, it's going to make some noise.
Yeah, it's going to scream, and you're going to hear a rope go...
Yeah, like, I'm not making anything lethal, just something to restrain shit.
Yeah. You basically go into big game hunter mode. These aren't monsters you're looking for. These are ruse. Big, nasty ruse that'll take a bite out of you or kick you as soon as look at you. You make the
It starts having
snares.
flashbacks to the Emu War.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's a little bit early for the Emu War, technically, but you know what? Emu War Part 1. Part 2 happens after World War 1, so...
And so he ties some knots and snares, and you think you've done a pretty decent job, Teve. There are gaps, of course, but you've set up enough snares that you think there's a pretty good chance that anything trying to get into the clearing would run into at least one. They would have to essentially know where you've put the traps to be able to get around them. And at this type of this time of night, in this type of environment, the only way they're going to notice those traps is if they're moving incredibly cautiously and carefully, which you assume something that's pursuing you would not do. Do you feel safe with what you've done, Teve, or is there anything else you'd like to do further?
Just as a last line, I'll put a bell on a wire sort of thing.
Just in case.
Encircling the last area.
Just in case. Then you step back, peer out into the clearing to see what the others are doing, hoping this will hold off the thing for long enough. Blake, I assume you're doing what the book says, getting the joss sticks set up, arranging the stones in the correct way.
Yes,
I assume
you're
reluctantly doing that grisly work of cutting the wolf's heart out and placing it in the very center.
Yeah, someone has to while TV is fortifying the defenses.
Go ahead and make an education check for me, and we'll see just how closely to the letter you follow the instructions.
Education is 80. I'm smart. That is a 12.
There's like a sickening squelch as you gouge the heart out, and carefully place it in the center of the circle in between all the torches, and then you begin to lay out all of the components as they're described in Dr. Nichols' account. Set the joss sticks up, get them burning, and soon the sweet and almost soothing scent of incense fills the air. What are we doing here? Says Jimmy, looking up at you, Violet, with eyes wide.
Jimmy, darling, this is how we're gonna fix you. How we're gonna change you back so you can be with your mommy, alright? So, what we're doing here, and you have a big part to play in this, alright? You're gonna have to resist eating that hot. Listen, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be right here. What you need to do is something big and important. Any minute, we're gonna start this little ritual thing, little thing to make you better. But you have to resist eating that heart. Do you understand? If you want to make it back to your mommy, you gotta resist eating that heart, alright?
Me one more persuade check, probably the last one you're gonna make tonight.
And then you died.
How perfect is a 1?
A 1. He looks up at you, suddenly full of resolve. He opens his eyes. They gleam with determination as he nods. You lead him to the center of the circle, where he kneels in front of the bloodied, gleaming heart, staring at it. And for a moment you see it in his face, the way his brow wrinkles, you can see he's fighting that internal battle, the hunger taking over. But then he looks over, meets your gaze, and he's reassured. He nods again and kneels there, staring resolutely into the distance, waiting for what must happen next. The ritual is prepared. All that's left is to sing or recite the call to Yig.
Alright, I'm not going to attempt the gobbledygook. I'm just going to do...
You could do the translated version if you like.
Because otherwise it would just be... Yig.
I will point out that for this ritual to work, you are going to need to expend at least 10 magic points and pass a power check. Now, more than one person can attempt this. You can, each contribute a little bit of magic points, but you'll all have to pass the check. And while you're doing the ritual, you'll be too busy doing that. If things go south...
I have exactly 10 magic points.
Exactly 10 magic points?
I have 8.
I have 10.
I have 10.
But I feel like I should probably try and do it because I also have 5 hit points left.
What's your power?
50.
Mine's 52.
50-50 chance.
Mine is 40.
Mine's 50.
Okay, so we're all got shit power.
All right.
I'll Can I ask a question before anything else?
Yep.
Does my cult knowledge translate into me having any other, benefit to it? Because that is my highest strength stat at 80.
At 80? I'd say with 80...
Yeah, I've got 80 in occult as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, 280s in occult. So I'd say, while Blake's setting up the ritual, even though he's following it exactly as Dr. Nichols described, the two of you have had experience with not rituals like this that actually work and contact gods, but you all know a little bit about witchy stuff and the general, practices of casting spells. And you realize there's a way where you could arrange the components of this ritual without deviating from how it says you should set it up, that would sort of allow the magical energy to flow more freely. And so you help Blake and help him make sure the things are spaced out at the correct distance. You make sure the circle that's been gouged into the earth is exactly round or as round as can be. And you just use your occult knowledge to essentially set this ritual up as perfect as it will go. And as a result, I will now say anyone who attempts that power check will be able to do it with advantage, which means you roll twice and take whatever the best result is.
Sweet.
Right. I think Violet should keep contact with Jimmy though to keep him calm during this though.
Yep.
Yeah, so plus and I would be the final result because I've already established like trust with him. Promise to
Yeah.
get him back home, and I'm intend on keeping that promise to the bitter end.
I'll probably keep out to keep an eye on the traps.
All right. Let's get to it then.
Do you want me to roll then do the translation, or translation then the roll?
Blake, I'd like you to go ahead and read it and then roll it. And I assume you're each spending 5 magic points on this. Which is good, because if you'd spent all 10 at once, you would fall unconscious, which might be unhelpful.
Oh, I forgot about that.
They do come back. It's just if
Yeah.
you spend them all at once, you pass out.
Yeah, which is fair. All right. Are you ready for today's sermon?
Let's go.
The people
talk to us about Daddy Yig.
The people pray to the aspect of Yig. We call our Father here for answers. We are worthless, but call for a last one. We pray for Yig's protection. And at advantage, you said?
Advantage? Yep.
That is that's a pass with a 37. But for shits and giggles, let's. Okay, that's a 91. So passed though.
Passed. So far, so good. Crystal, do you feel up to reciting it, or do you just want to do the roll? I won't force you to sing it or recite it if you don't want to.
Okay. Roll that's a star and a 20. So 20.
Yes. Very nice. And then Florence is next, her voice rising, reaching a fever pitch as she shouts, "The people pray to the aspect of Yig. We call our Father here for answers." And as she and Blake reach a crescendo, the air around you seems to be primed with static electricity. The trees yearn, the trees shiver and yawn. The whole swamp seems to groan in anticipation. We are worthless, but call for a lost one. We pray for Yig's protection. Teve, make me a spot hidden check with advantage, please. Or a listen check. You may pick either.
That's a 5. I don't need to do the second one.
Crack! Twang! You hear the sound of a rope being drawn taut from somewhere behind you. Whirl around just in time to see something very large, something 4-legged, dart away from the trap it nearly set off.
Oh dear. We have incoming!
Violet, what are you doing? And Edna as well.
So, you can go first. Go first, Edna.
I'm gonna say the thing and I'm gonna roll. Well, I'll roll.
You're gonna hasten it. Go ahead, do a power check.
Not doing that one. I'll do the second one. All right, we did it with a 41.
41? Is that just enough?
Yeah, that's out of 50. Yes, that's enough. We don't want the first roll. We do not want the first roll.
She scrambles for the book, lifts it up, and as her hair begins to billow behind her in an unseen wind, she calls to Yig. The air around you grows thicker, the static electricity tingling your skin. Violet, you can feel Billy. He looks up, feeling that energy in the air, that charge. He looks up at you, his eyes uncertain. But he doesn't fidget. He doesn't move. He just nods, and he says, "I can do this! I can do this!" And squeezes your hand tight. You hear Teve call out, "Something's on us!" What do? Girl with the shotgun.
I call out to Teve. Teve, get ready to catch. So I take the shotgun, quickly reload it with 2 fresh bullets for him, toss him the shotgun, and then I turn and reach out my hand and say, "Give me that book."
So I
And
will
I'm
say,
sacrificing 2 magic points for this.
2 magic points.
Well, yeah, I'm sacrificing some magic points for this and
Yeah.
rolling.
So once you reach the minimum of 10, any additional ones just make it go faster. So either way.
Oh, yes, but I'm doing the original pronunciation of it.
Oh,
Well
this is
done.
gonna be.
You can make an attempt to pronounce it. Don't worry if you don't, because I couldn't. But...
No. I'm not gonna pronounce it out loud. But my character pronounce. You know what? I'll try it. But I'm gonna do. First off, I'm gonna roll to see if I can do it. So is it like?
Yep.
What do I
I'd
have to
say
do?
if you're
Under power, right?
If you're using the original translation rather than rolling power with advantage, just do it normally, because this would be much harder to speak Ying's own language. So, but you're still doing better than normal because you would get advantage, which is cancelled out by it being hard. So you get to do a normal one rather than going for a hard success.
So,
Here's a question.
Yep.
How close, in language would this be to Macedonian?
Probably not even close. Though I do have stuff that she'll be able to read coming fairly later on, but not in this scenario, unfortunately.
Okay.
So that was a 4 for the power roll.
4 for the power roll.
Now I'm gonna roll a cult to see if I get the pronunciation correct.
Yeah.
To speed it up faster.
Yeah.
And then for a bit of flair.
And that is a 29 out of 80.
Well done. You hurl the shotgun through the air, grab the book, and begin to scream. An alien tongue comes out in your voice, words that are not human, that do not sound like anything a human would say, hissing, spitting, guttural sounds. You call them out as hard as you can, making sure each syllable is as close as you can get it, knowing the importance of each single sound. That's enough to speed the ritual up. It's going to go off this round rather than next round. But there is still some stuff to attend to. Teve, you hear wood snapping, a roar, and look up as a humongous grizzly bear, big red gash under its eye, comes barreling out, its left front leg still dragging the rope snare behind it that it's torn free, slowing it down ever so slightly. Do you reach for the gun to snatch it out of the air, or have you got something else in mind?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab the gun.
Alright, go ahead, make me either a strength or a throw check to catch it.
I'd be better off going strength. That is an 11. So that's a super win.
Yeah. You reach out, grab the shaft of the gun, immediately cock it as the rabid animal, its eyes bulging in rage and anger, comes bounding down into the clearing, spittle hanging off its teeth. Go ahead, Teve. Make a fire.
Question.
Yep.
This shotgun, does it have a double trigger for each one, or just
single
unload?
Just a single unload. Yep. So again, it's going to fire. Both shells come out.
Okay. Is the bear on 4s or 2s?
On 4s, and it's moving perhaps a bit slightly slower than it would have, because it is dragging one of your snares behind it that its legs caught in.
Okay. I'm going to aim for the opposite knee, like the opposite leg's knee, so it it's getting weighed down by not only the snare, but the other leg will have a blown out head.
Go ahead, make me a firearms check. It would have been hard, but it will be normal because it's already slowed down.
Oh, this is going to be bad because I've only got 25.
I will allow a push if you fail, but you're taking your life into your hands.
Well, that's an 18. So that's a pass.
That's a pass. You feel the gun tremble in your hands, and it's only because the bear is slowed down by your snare that you're able to get a bead on it at all. And as it comes closer, as it stops and begins to rise, hulking above you as it prepares to swing, you aim the gun and unload both shells into its knee. Something bursts. Shards of bone fly out. You feel them slam into your ankle. Blood gushes forth, and the bear is bowled off its feet, rolling away, kicking up a cloud of dust as it hisses in pain. And that's all that was needed. The voices rise, get louder. An unnatural wind that crawls on your skin blows through the clearing, threatening to knock you to the ground. The torches flicker and nearly die, then flare with an ominous green flame. The bear looks up, its eyes wide in fear, and then it turns and flees into the woods as a blinding light appears in the center of the circle, just above Jimmy, hovering just above his head. It hangs in the air, in the darkness, for a moment, and then this light begins to slowly take the form of a humanoid with the head of a serpent. Its yellow eyes penetrate your soul while your mind twists and turns. Yig is here. Blake, Violet, Edna, and Florence, as soon as you see the flash of light, knowing what is coming, do you gaze upon Yig? Or do you look away, shut your eyes, knowing that you're unworthy?
Go ahead, Liam.
You know what? I feel like with everything I've seen tonight, I feel like because I've pretty much stared into his eye, I am going to bow, but still look on him.
Anyone else?
I'll like fall to my knees in submissive sort of worship pose, reverence.
Or
And
interference?
I will look, but only I'll keep my eyes slightly averted, but I will if I'm given permission to look, I'll look.
All right. Violet and Florence, how about you?
I will basically do the same, Froggy.
Throw yourself before it?
Yeah.
Since I am holding little Jimmy's hand and he is right above me, I look down in reverence and not make eye contact until I am given permission.
You avert your gaze. You still see him appear, the shape of him, the suggestion of him, but you do not look into his face, instead focusing on Jimmy, looking into his eyes, doing your best to keep him calm. The others, though, the other three, who prostrate themselves before him and look up into his godly visage. I'd like you to make SAN checks, please. This is the test of whether you're able.
Yep.
Whether you're considered worthy.
That's an 18.
24.
What are we gonna roll?
Sanity. Yep. So just roll your sanity as if it were a skill. And if you pass or fail, it'll determine how much you lose.
4.
4. Everyone passes. That will be a sun loss of 1d10 for each of you. Be glad it isn't 100.
Like when Tom looked at Azathoth.
Yeah, look straight into Azathoth's eye.
Oh shit. That's a 10.
Let's see if anyone else gets above 5 first.
3.
Well, which one's the D10?
The one with 2 numbers.
Oh wait, don't you go insane if you lose 10 at once?
And pass an intelligence check to see if you comprehend what's happening.
Yes.
Oh god.
What do you mean the one with 2 numbers?
Hold on.
That's a D10?
Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
The star. What's the star? Is that a 0?
Yeah, I think that's
0.
good. 0. On a D10. That's 10. That's the worst. That's bad. Uh-oh. All right.
No, wait, no.
So
I got a 10 though, and she got a star.
Oh, you got a 10.
And she got a stars.
Oh, she got a. Okay. Well, let's call that a sun loss of 1, because the minimum is always going to be 1. All right. So looks like it's only you then, Blake. Everyone else immediately shivers and to gaze upon this thing, to see it scrutinizing you with its yellow eyes, reading your very soul. You're instantly humbled. Even if you didn't want to prostrate yourselves before it, you're forced to. Your body's twisting against their will as you suddenly realize you are not worthy. You are not worthy. Blake, go ahead and make an intelligence check for me. You don't want to pass this one.
No. My intelligence is 70. Oh no. Oh, that's a 56.
You comprehend what is happening. Gods are real. This god is real. He stands in front of you, scrutinizing him. And you are the one who called him here.
Yep.
He turns his head to look at you. And he says, "What do you ask of me?"
Alright, am I... Oh, crap. Sorry,
Everyone else hears nothing but gasps, hisses, groans. You're the only one who hears Yig's voice.
Since I failed failed that sound check, am I still
You don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh great Yig, we have summoned you here to save this boy and rid your land of this changeling so you can have peace at last.
You awaken me for mundane inanity. What do you offer in return?
Oh shit. I look around at the massive mess that's going on at the moment. The Jimmy's dad is he still crawling or is he stopped at the moment?
He's like hanging in the tree line, like the bear's eyes are wide. He seems too afraid to approach.
Offer the life of the changeling.
That's what I offer the life of the changeling, and I point to the bear. And if that's not enough, I offer myself as a student of Yig to study and research.
Snake God contemplates you, his serpentine eyes narrowing. Then he nods. Acceptable. You pledge yourself to me. I will not forget. There will come a time when you will be called upon, you will answer, or you will be damned. Do you understand? Do you agree? Do you consent?
I understand, O mighty Yig. I consent to your teachings.
Then it's so. Then so it shall be done. Nods serpent head, clasps its hands together, and peers down at the boy cowering beneath it. You carry the blood within your veins, blood that is unnatural, blood that befouls and insults me, stains all that I have created, all that I reside over. Then, looking back at you, he says, part of the boy will be purged. Is this acceptable? The part of the boy that befouls me will be stripped away.
Yes, O great Yig. We wish to return the boy as normal to his family.
It shall be done. He reaches down, clasps a hand on the boy's shoulder. The boy, gulping, looks up, peers into the serpentine eyes. And then there's a flash of blinding light, the sound of something fast, something heavy rushing towards you, air being displaced, static electricity dancing on your skin. And then it is over. Over at last.
I just collapsed to the ground and just gasping.
You're not sure how much time has passed. Seems like only an instant. But when you open your eyes, it is no longer dark. Grey sunlight peels through the swamp canopy above. Your faces illuminated in it, pale, traumatized, broken. The torches have long ago burnt out, the scorch marks on the floor, the only evidence of the ritual at all. The bear, the shapeshifter, the changeling is nowhere to be seen. In the middle of the circle stand two figures. Cyrillus, the serpent man, his pale reptilian face peering down at Jimmy Campbell. Jimmy, whose face is a sickly green, his skin replaced with scales, his eyes narrow, yellow, reptilian. You are as you should be, says Cyrillus to the boy. He looks up, sees the rest of you standing there, and bows his head. I thank you for performing the ritual. Your part has been played. Your toll spent. You may leave this swamp. There will be no ill will between us.
Through the gates of hell, as we make our way to
I look at
heaven.
Cyrillus going, but what about Jimmy? We said we will bring him home.
When you
I say that while still gasping and processing of what I just did.
You called upon the Lord Yig to purge those aspects of the boy that were distasteful to it. The things that soil all he presides over. I explained how the changeling carries the blood of your people and of mine, and as its offspring, this boy... Cyrillus trails off. He will come with me, live among those of his own kind. Do you understand? It is as Yig willed it.
I'm just...
Violet,
Sorry.
go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just about to say, after all this realization of it's just like, this was all for nothing, and I kind of just pass out on the ground.
He opens his mouth to say something, Blake, and then his eyes roll into the back of his socket. He lets out a gasp and falls to the ground. Jimmy Campbell, or what was once Jimmy Campbell, looks up at you, Violet, into your eyes. His eyes that are no longer human, reptilian, but you can still see within them the sadness, but the resolve. Please, he says, please take care of my mother and my sister.
I will, darling. I will. All right. I promise I will.
I know this is not how anyone thought this would be, but he looks up at Cyrillus, holds his arms aloft. I have found a place to be. Cyrillus nods, takes the boy by the hand, and together the two of them silently walk to the edge of the clearing, standing in the tree line. Before they disappear beyond it, they pause, look over their shoulders, take one last look at you. We will see each other again, says Cyrillus. For the changeling is not all that lurks within this place. And then the serpent people are gone, leaving you alone in the cold, damp morning with an impossible task ahead of you. The task of making sense of what has happened, with reconciling how you once saw the world with what you now know, and figuring out how you're going to explain to the boy's family that he will not return. And that's where we'll leave it for this session, I think. Next session, after some time has passed, you'll be called together by Dr. Nichols to have a debrief, and I think you'll all agree with me, a well-earned, well-deserved chance to demand some answers. The aftermath is sometimes as difficult as the horrific events themselves. And that's what we'll unravel next time as unseen forces stir in the swamp and an evil of profound magnitude begins to awaken, its plans set into motion. Well done, guys!
Yay! I'm insane and L7 of Yig.
And somehow I performed that ritual perfectly.
Yeah, somehow.
That was so bittersweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was the point.
Thank God
Making
for
deals
advantage.
with otherworldly gods
He says
never really works out in your favor.
It
Thank-
does.
Thank God for advantage because I rolled 100 the first round.
Ooh.
Oh, that was very close. So,
All right.
here is what happens in response to what you've done. Here is what you carry into the next session. First of all, for getting rid of the changeling, for ending that threat once and for all, you each recover 1d8 points of san. Next, for witnessing the horrors that are undescribable to man, you each gain 5 points of Cthulhu Mythos skill, your very first glimpse into this world of madness. And finally, you may pick any 3 of your skills and increase them by 1d10 percentiles each, and you may pick the same skill more than once.
By how much was it?
1d10 each.
And
How many did you say, sorry?
3 skills.
3 skills, 1d10 each. Or the same skill more than once, if you like. Plus 1d8 luck, 1d8 sanity recovered for each of you. Your luck remains the same. That will build up. You will get some more luck once you complete scenarios, but not this first one, because you should still have plenty left.
And what about that book I picked up?
Are you prepared to know what you have found?
I am indeed.
Where do we put the Cthulhu Mythos?
It's in the character sheet.
Oh, there's a skill, and it's called Cthulhu Mythos, and by default it's empty, because it's the one skill you can't spend skill points on at any time, because you're meant to get it through experience only. Liam, I'm going to reveal what book you picked up, and indeed I'm going to reveal the effects of each of the articles you've taken at the start of next session. After all, I must leave you with some tension, but I'll just tell you, I took the number you rolled, and I did some magic with it, and I arrived at a book that, depending on how you treat it, is going to be either very, very good for you, or it's going to kill you in some horrifying way.
Oh.
The rest of you took things that are a bit less esoteric, and you shouldn't have anything too bad as a result. And that will conclude.
Even with mine?
No, yours maybe, depending on what you do with it. Might be a bit dangerous.
No, it's definitely going to be dangerous.
And I've got a random bag.
You've got a random bag.
You got a random bag.
And so...
Random bag.
I got a random bag, and guess what's inside it?
Evil books to kill people. And so next session we'll start with like a little bit of downtime, just like explaining what's happened in the couple days between the end of this session and the next, and that's when you'll be able to decide, after finding out what you've brought back with you, what you would like to do. And that concludes this episode of Call of Cthulhu. Thank you for joining us. And remember, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there watching you, waiting. What do you guys think of that one?
That was good. I'll be back in a second. I'll just end stream. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining in, and thank you so much for the follow, Big Mama. But thank you so very much, and we will be back next week for some more Call of Cthulhu. Until then, if you haven't followed, hit that follow button. If you want to stay up to date and join a wonderful community, don't forget to join the Discord. And I will see you guys next time. Until then, stay sane.